Hello, everybody! Welcome to Wild Beyond the Witchlight D&D. We are back. We did not go anywhere, just for a short little while, but we have returned because we didn't want to do this without the whole gang here. And look, we have a lovely returning Jennings Brower back in the building.
Hello, everybody.
So awesome to have you back, friend. I hope your trip was amazing.
Trips were wonderful. I missed you guys dearly, and I missed this D&D storyline very, very much.
Dude, we miss you as well. We hope that you had a great time. We know that you have another event to go to later on in the sesh, but it's okay. Y'all who have been missing the Lucy, my impression does not do it justice. You will get your Lucy today for a good hour and a half, and then Jennings has to run off to an event because we are busy people, but we still wanted to have him be in the story for as long as he could. And then screw it. Critical Role didn't have Ashley Johnson for 7 months, so fucking who cares? It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to fucking hear it. But yes, everyone, we're going to do quick little sponsor shout outs because we want to get as much game as we can as possible because I have missed this crew so much and streaming fucking D&D. So, you know him, you love him. It's the fucking Dicecream sponsors, everybody, for the Dicecream Twitch channel. For C4 Labs, bam, awesome TTRPG, Dice Tray, accessories company. They are amazing. They make some wicked ass stuff. You've probably been seeing them hawked around by a few D&D TikTokers. They were gracious enough to give our players here some awesome dice trays for themselves, and also our awesome custom-made Dicecream trays are still in the stores. So if you like this design, little holder for all your dice at the top, it is quite fashionable for any D&D table. So go check them out, please. Support local business. And also, if you're needing some really sweet, colorful, hard-edged dice, we got your Crit Kit over here. This is being focused on my cameras. Crit Kit, Critical Kit. Awesome company based in the UK. Also open a US store. So for those of you who've been wanting to get your hands on some amazing collections like these Witcher dice, which I will always support all the time, go over to their site. For those of you living in the West, now those shipping times are going to be cut in half. So we love Cricket. We love C4 Labs. Thank you for supporting independent D&D streams of all kinds, shapes, and sizes. And don't forget, for both places, you can use the code Dicecream15 to get 15% off at your first purchase. With all that out of the way, let us, everybody, after a good long 2-week hiatus, sit back, relax, and dive into tonight's episode of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. But before we do that, we need to look at the amazing recap video that.
Oh, that's right.
And I know I was swerved, and I just sharp Mario Kart drifting, too fast, too furious, mushroom style. Didn't forget. Get it. So before we go dive into tonight's episode, we're going to take a quick look at an amazing recap video from the last time we played. I was going to say last week's adventure, but it was 2 weeks ago. From our last session of Wild Beyond the Witchlight, edited and created by the one, the only, the amazing Jackie Elena Chan. So Joy Rose,
too.
Hit it!
Last time on Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Okay.
What is going on?
There's something upstairs. It tried to attack me.
What was the shadow doing in here?
I point over to that. So when I came in here, this thing was dying and its last breath was pointing at this shadow figure that lunged at me, but the figure had this spool on them.
Since this Evelyn is a taxidermist, I'm pretty sure that's hers, so I would presume that the shadow was trying to steal that.
I'm an inspector sent by Bavlorna to look for some malicious things.
Oh, you here to unplug the preservation pool? But that's perfect. I can lead you down and you can fix that no problem for us.
Gonna pull it up?
Yeah.
And this viscous jello-like material starts to come out of the well and form into a big gelatinous cube.
Oh, fuck.
You hear a voice following.
I have been stuck in that cube
For 2 days! 2 days!
We're looting!
And are you rushing downstairs to find out what that roar sound was?
I want to talk to Bavlorna and Charm.
Charm. And Charm sitting there, you see a ring of fire engulfing Charm.
Ooh.
Charm's gone. So as the two of you run downstairs,
Kill it! Kill it! Kill it! I look to the Lionel and I'm just like, fair feline. Hold him for me!
In half.
Shit!
All right, how do we get out of here? We need to get back to the Sloggy Court.
And we are back. So there you go. You are all caught up on the latest adventure of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Thanks again, Jacqueline Chan, for editing those. We appreciate you very, very much. So, all that out of the way, gang, with a full party in tow. Now, let's dive into tonight's session of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Okay, so everyone, we pick up where we last left off with Artreon, covered in red-capped blood, with a fresh, gooey rouge mane, like you just got back from a goddamn pack hunt. There are two halves of this red cap in front of you, part of the blood from the red cap now starting to sift its way into the watery pool that you had successfully unplugged with your battle with the gelatinous cube. What would you all like to do?
Anybody? You want some? Anybody?
No, I'm good. I'm good. We need to get out of here, like now.
Ebby's trying to like see why his eyes are still covered by moss.
Oh, that's right.
Like intestines are flinging out. I like turn my back and like things are just flying everywhere.
Feline, is there any way that you could possibly clean up your dinner real quick? Or should I have to I have to scoop Ebby into my arms still covering his eyes and I have to walk outside?
I forgot. Is there something wrong with the pool, or did we fixed that? Right? It's not.
We fixed it because you made that joke that your little hand would pop up because it's a rejuvenation pool.
All right, so I literally just go over and just like face first dunk my head in the pool and just like shake as violently as I possibly can, and all the blood seems to have just kind of wiped off as I like am now soaked and look like a weird cat because my mane's all soaking wet.
You're like oddly very thin.
Artreon, make me a quick charisma check. Just D20 plus your charisma modifier.
Charisma. 17.
The rest of you, having just met this very ferocious, hulking, vein-popping, bicep-bulging Leonin, still getting a feel for this person. You know that they're on your side, but this act of ferocity is kind of unwarranted, but you're kind of going along with it. You've been privy to a lot of weird things in the Feywild, some somewhat beautiful, somewhat disturbing. But as soon as Artreon sifts his mane and his fur into the water, and all of that blood and all of that redness just starts to disapparate into the liquid, all this beautiful hair and beard and mane just flops over as bits of water just hit all of the wooden planks on the walls, on the floor, and just slow-mo mane just starts to dry out. You can almost see little glints of sparkles on the outline of his body as a slow whisper of a saxophone playing just in the back of your minds.
I'm sorry, are you prompting us to make a horny check?
What's going on?
But it's a record scratch because the second I get up, I'm like, and a bone comes flying out of my mouth.
Whether you find that attractive or not, I will leave that up to you. But Archeon doing this, just like, there's beauty in the chaos in this moment for a split second.
Lucy's just like, damn. Respect.
Respect.
Alrighty
Just a
then.
little fist bump, just a little low bones. Low bones.
Lemon.
Meanwhile,
Friendship
Clapperclaw,
+5.
with his newfound head of the stag head that you had all recently found for him, replacing his old gourd head. Of course, a Clapperclaw being an amalgamation of like a scarecrow body with giant crab claw hands. Used to have like a jack-o'-lantern gourd for a face. Now this stag skull, which was his original head, has just been standing there with his giant claw, like crab claws over his like vacant skull eyes, waiting for the massacre to be over.
I think we're done, Clapperclaw. I think.
No.
Are you sure?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's just dead.
Oh, all right then. I'm still getting used to the way that you all do things around here, but that's quite all right. Where to next?
Do you know how to call that that
Warguard.
Bullywog lady? Yeah. Do you know how to get Warguard back here?
I believe she was to be stationed nearby. With the
I want to
weather balloon.
go outside and see if I can see the weather balloon.
Yeah, I want to go outside and do a perception check. I guess technically at that point I have like Ebby with me. I just kind of like, okay, we're gonna look for Morgart now, okay?
But my jars.
You have them in your hand. I'm strong. I have all of you. You're
wanna
holding your
fill-
jars. I'm holding you.
I want to fill them up with pool water.
Oh, they're empty jars. I thought you had honey in them.
2 of them have honey. The
Oh,
other 3
two
are
of them.
empty.
Okay, well, I'm gonna like take a peek back inside to see if all the blood is gone.
So the blood
I
is
don't
kind of
know.
dissipated into the water at this point. So there's
Yeah.
just this kind of like murky red
Sorry.
water. Like
Didn't
someone put
filter
like a bit
out.
of like Kool-Aid
I
into the
don't
clear
think-
water.
You want that water anymore?
Can I hang on? I want to hold my hand out to Abby and like, can I have one of those jars?
Absolutely.
I'll take one. I'll take a stopper and I'll fill it up with stuff. And can I prestidigitation it clean?
So prestidigitation doesn't fit. It doesn't make it clean for real. It makes it look like it's clean.
Ooh.
So you'll alter the appearance of it, but it's not real.
Oh.
I'll prestidigitation, make it look clean. All right, there you go.
Well, I'm fooled.
Quincy,
The other one.
Make a deception check.
Oh,
My eyes are closed, by the way, so I can't see shit.
Deception is that's a dirty 20.
nice.
Ooh,
Okay.
God
Yeah,
damn.
Abby,
Yeah.
you're not really like. Also, like most of you are still getting used to each other. You're becoming good friends during this journey, but you don't know the extent of everyone's past, their capabilities, what they're able to do. You just saw Quincy put up a jar full of like murky red liquid and go, and be clear. He's like, here you go.
Now,
Drink
all you
it.
guys have to do is hope that I've used it in the right way.
Don't drink it.
Here's the other one.
All right. I'll do it to all of them. I'll just like fill them
No,
up,
but two of them had
prestidigitation.
honey. You
Okay.
want to pour out the honey for one of them?
No,
No,
two
keep
honey,
those.
2 honey, and then 3 of the water.
3 water. Okay.
Mhm.
Same thing, Quincy. You put those jars in the water. The murky red liquid fills up. Snap of the finger. Just becomes clear. Here you go. There you
What
go
would
again.
Don't
What would
drink
the
it.
honey's name be? Because you said it was like really high quality honey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just say high quality honey.
Yeah.
Hey, wild honey.
Stay wild, honey. Exactly. All right. So, Jackie, you're going outside with Ebby now under your arm. Did you let Ebby kind of do that with Quincy? You went outside to look for the weather balloon.
Yeah.
I want
just
to look
did.
for the weather balloon. I can just see it happening where I have like one paw over his eyes and the other one like kind of scooped up. He and like his bird arms just kind of like handing out blindly the jars and just anticipating Quincy.
Like
to
Ebby's
catch
butt
it.
is in front of you and his upper half of his body behind you. Like
As
talking to
I'm
Quincy.
walking
Like,
out.
yeah, don't take that. All right. So as you got Ebby under your arms and you're going
Yeah.
outside, you're just like, this place is fucking crazy. Get the fuck out of here. Looking around, this place is still fairly foggy.
Okay.
You're still in this sort of swamp marshland environment that the cottage, the wood cottage kind of sits atop of. So there's lots of fog, a lot of humidity. So it's a bit hard to see, but you do, after a while, make me that perception check.
Can I give her help for advantage?
Sure, if you want to go outside and help her out.
Yeah. So you roll with an advantage.
Okay, let me. Perception, you said?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 17.
Oh boy. So yeah, the fog's kind of rolling in fairly thick around you, but you do sort of notice the wisp of the rope kind of dangling. It used to be over here by the porch that Quincy unexpectedly crashed into when you had first arrived, alerting to a group of toads to croak loudly as a self-imposed security system. But the rope has kind of moved a little bit. So before, the rope kind of dangled off here.
Mm-hmm.
And now kind of where you see this clothing line kind of disappear into the clouds and the fog, you see a secondary rope kind of like dangling in and out of some cloud cover. So you just see the sort of like a black silhouette of a rope kind of dangling in the distance. And then as you're kind of looking clear, you kind of see it like wafting in and out of some clouds nearby.
Okay, so I'm guessing just like it's moving because of like the wind around us, but not necessarily like she's going back and forth with the ship.
No. Just that's like a little bit windy, so it's just kind of dangling around there, but it's not like right on top of the porch here. It's kind of off to the side here after you guys have taken a little bit of time inside. So to kind of grab onto it, you might have to figure out a way to kind of pull it more towards you, or maybe like make your climb over to this clothing line here. Or jump. You could also try to do that if you like.
Abby
but
can
with
pull
your
the
guys'
thing.
luck, jumping is.
Can Abby fly out and grab it?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Abby can fly out and grab it, maybe.
I was just gonna jump.
Whatever you'd like to do, I'm here for it.
Okay. Also, did we decide if we're taking the mirror with us?
Oh, we should.
Ooh.
We have so much stuff to like look
We
at in your bag of
should.
holding.
How big does your bag open?
I don't think it'll fit that, but I think we should still take it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jennings, the mirror opens up to the carnival.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think that happened when I was still here.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you for the reminder because I didn't remember.
Guys, I see the rope to Morgart's ship over here. We need to bring it over if we're trying to leave right now.
Okay. Hold my jars.
Okay. Fumble. Okay.
Abby's gonna just like flap up and grab onto the rope with his feet.
Okay. So yeah, you use your very expansive, colorful peacock feathers to kind of stretch them out once more. Go over a bit of fog and cloud cover, kind of burst out on either side as you kind of enter into the fray, of making a bit more of a visible space that can kind of see that clothing line going deeper and deeper into the fog, but the rope starting to become a bit more visible. Reach out your two talons, and you feel a bit of a tug from the immense weight of the weather balloon up top. You kind of feel yourself pushing the wicker box a bit over closer to you. You kind of feel the vibrations of a single person up inside. Most notably, probably Morgort, who's just like, you're able to make a strength check.
Oh, okay. That's gonna suck. 18!
Hey! So yeah, with your expressive wingspan, you're able to just like use the gust of wind to kind of propel yourself backwards to pull the balloon closer towards you. So now the rope is just dangling just above the porch here.
Nice.
I got it! I got the rope!
Good. Bring it over here. Let's get up and get out of here, because we have a Stormcloud to go get.
How do we prove that we own it now?
Well, since nobody else is there, we just take
Permanently
it.
borrowing.
Well,
Permanently borrowing. Permanently borrowing.
Commandeering, privateering, whatever makes you happy. We're gonna go steal a Stormcloud.
I
Give
don't.
the
back
Feywild
when they
build
make us.
business.
Is this?
Huh?
What?
So I said permanently borrowing. We'll give it back when they make us.
No, I felt.
win-win.
I don't know if this means anything, but I felt like there was movement on the rope.
Oh, that's probably Morgort.
Probably Morgart.
Okay.
Okay.
Who wants to go
Walks up
first?
and says, "Do you want to go check to make
Ooh.
sure, or
Pick me.
we just gonna all send
No,
it?"
she doesn't know you, so
Ah.
You are very charismatic for wanting to do that, but let's have a familiar face go up and be like, "Hey, look at our new friend."
I have a great smile.
Oh, this is the new ship.
You
there's
still
just
have a little
blood
bit
still.
of bone.
You got a little bit of blood, like still right there, and like canine right there. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
the
there's a
canine or
ligament.
feline?
I
Also, Archeron, your mane is like humided and fluffed out to the nines. Like you're no longer got like this slick sort of wet like fur that was matted down. As soon as you washed off the blood from your face and whipped it off, you're just like a big giant fluff ball all around you.
All right.
I'm, like
Who wants to go?
making attempts to.
I can go tell them we have friends.
Oh, that would be perfect. Perfect.
Oh,
But
that's what I was
Demir-
suggesting was that Ebby go fly up there.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
I could fly, but the mirror.
We.
I'll handle that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abby just soars off without even a second thought.
All right. See Ebby just take off from the front porch there, front balcony, up into the cloud cover. Their body just gets engulfed completely. A couple of those clouds and fog kind of spritz out around them, but you only see them for a few feet till they just like become blurry. Like you can see like a little bit of a silhouette. The dense fog cloud cover kind of takes them over. But Ebby, as you sort of climb up with your flight, you start to see the wicker basket hanging there, the leather mist-colored patchwork of the balloon that's filled with swamp gas, floating ever so often until you sort of float up and you see Morgort kind of hunched over from that sudden jolt. You see their spear kind of on the ground. You're like, "Oh, are you back?" Oh,
I am. The rest aren't though, because they're down there. But I'm back.
So are they all downstairs with you? You've taken a very long time. I was getting pretty worried.
Oh, so much has happened. Long story. Someone I think died. But other than that, there was a lot of stuff that went on, and there was a very scary man who was hurting birds. I turned very small for a very quick moment, and then I was big again. I smiled at myself. I don't know how that worked, but it worked. And then there's just a big cube, and it kind of like hurt a lot. And I have jars, but I don't have them on me right now. Only Moss has them right now. But I'll get them back. There's honey. And, we have a balloon. I like this balloon, but let's just say it's different taste of balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did all that, did you?
Oh, there's more to it, but
Perf.
yeah. The others can tell. It's fine. I had my eyes closed for a long time, so you know.
Love it.
Okay, well, I have a lot of questions.
I have a lot of answers.
I think.
Maybe.
Okay, so first off, are your friends alive?
Yes.
Cool. Okay,
You hesitated.
I know.
they are alive. Are they down? Are they okay?
Yes, they're okay. There's another person there, and he has like a giant furry face.
Furry face. What do you mean? There's
He's
another.
like a lion. He's friendly. He saved me from the blob.
Wait, a lion? You mean a leonin?
Sure.
What is a leonin? Whoa! What's a leonin doing in Babylonia's cottage?
You know, I felt like asking that, but it was none of my business.
Can we like, as he's up there, can I get like Archeron and all of us to kind of like pull it down, like the weather balloon
You want
slowly
to try
down?
to pull down the weather balloon?
Is that possible?
Anything is possible, my friend. Roll me a strength check. Does anyone want to help
Help.
Quincy?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna, like, help.
All four of you? All right.
Yeah, because like
Active.
I feel like as I was down here, if we want to load the mirror, I'm like, is there anything else around here that we probably would want to load instead of like climbing up with it? We could like pull it down and store a bunch of stuff in there.
I love this. All right. Collective strength check from all four of you.
Yes.
I get to throw in a 14.
14,
Someone has an inspiration, by the way.
16. Wait.
16.
Wait.
It was Jackie, I think, got a D4.
Oh yeah, I got inspiration.
12.
I
12.
rolled
Oh,
so
technically
low.
that's a dirty 20. Technically that's a dirty 20 for me.
So
Nice.
20, 14, 16,
I rolled 9.
9.
Yeah, I rolled 9.
So
Your paws are still slippery from the.
Still slippery from the blood.
Yeah.
The tiny hand.
Yeah.
So, Quincy, you have this idea as Abby's having this conversation with Morgor. You're downstairs like, hey, what if we just pull down the weather balloon here, then we can load things into it. And that sounds good, right? We're like, oh yeah, good idea. Okay. You like jump on the rope to think you can pull it down, and your legs just dangle over the porch, and you're just like swinging on this rope by yourself. You then get Moss behind you, and it's like, whoa, just like you're kind of like almost going over the porch again, like, no, come over here, and just like using the cat-like reflexes, just grabs the rope and kind of starts to pull down a bit on the weather balloon themselves. You notice your body kind of lowering a bit. Then Lucy gets behind, grabs a little bit of rope, and further, you see that the rope sort of lowers down a little bit, not by much, but you're starting to collectively move it down. And then Archeon, you go from behind the last tail end, no pun intended, of the rope here, but your paw's still a little bit wet from soaking in the water. You just can't get a very good grip. It kind of slips through your paws a little bit, trying to dry them off as much as you can. You're pulling it down a little bit, but not enough to pull down this massive weather balloon several feet down to you.
It was a good idea.
It was a good attempt.
How heavy is the mirror?
I was able to lift it myself.
You haven't lifted it yet, so you're not too sure. You just saw it. It was just on the wall there. It was near
So wait,
that
Abby's lifted it
hallway
before?
that you guys found.
Yeah, we saw Abby lift it.
Yeah.
We saw it,
Yeah.
News.
Oh,
So
that's
if
right.
Abby- if
No,
Abby
yeah, that's
can
right.
carry it, then
So can Lucifer just just take action, go grab the mirror from inside, and use the rope in his pack to tie a knot around his waist, and wherever on the mirror can be tied.
So you want to tie a knot around the mirror, connecting
Yeah.
to a backpack?
To the backpack or my waist, whichever's
To your
makes
waist.
no sense.
Okay.
So I'm use my feet and hands to climb up.
All right. So you're going to make
Yeah.
your way up to the second floor where the mirror was.
the mirror is still technically downstairs because it was out.
It's on the map.
It's out here.
Yeah.
We moved it around and stuff, so the mirror is down here.
Right. Okay. I'm
Imagine it's
smart.
no longer
I know
covered
how
up
these things
outside
work.
by my bed thing.
Okay. So you've got the mirror down there. Yeah, you wouldn't have. You could, if you wanted to tie both of them, you could. Make me. What did I do this before? Just make a general strength check. This will be how taut you make the.
Oh.
No, it's good.
Okay.
We break it.
11. Sorry, 21. 21.
Okay.
So sorry, everyone.
It's good. 11.
Sorry, no.
This is a mechanic I started doing for my IRL game with tying knots, because most of the time people tying knots to things seems like a good idea. I introduced making a strength check to determine how hard you tied the knots, because I had one player try to tie up like a goat inside their cart one time. They're like, make me a strength check, and it was a 2. And I'm like, you thought you tied it tight, but that's all you think. And then wound up just being loose, and it ran off. It was just really fun. But yes, so you go and you tie up, like double knot it, wrap it around the mirror, a little bit of line against your waist, tied up tight, check it several times, doesn't look like it's going anywhere. As you want to like move forward, and the mirror is kind of like on its back, I'm assuming, with the glass upward. So it's just like dragging across the floor as you're moving forward, or is anyone else helping you with this?
I can
Well,
help with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No bones.
No buts.
Okay, so with Archeon carrying the other part of the rope, the other part of the mirror with the rope attached to Lucy's waist, the two of you kind of go off into the balcony up there, and you're going to try to, like, I assume, try to climb up the rope with it dangling off of your waist.
Yeah, instead of using just like my hands for, like, pull-ups, I'm actually gonna use like the technique where you wrap the rope like kind of around your foot and use both feet to like stand and pull. So that way I'm using my full body strength.
Okay. And Archeon, are you climbing up the rope up behind him?
No, I am actually going to wait at the bottom until he is up.
Make sure the mirror is safe.
Just in case.
Okay. So this will be a fairly high strength check for you, Lucy, because you are not only climbing this rope, but you're basically doing a weighted rope pull up like more than 50 feet of rope. So make me a strength check here.
Oh.
24. 19 plus 5.
Ooh.
Your deceptive laugh is
I
getting
don't
me
get
every
it.
single time, Cheide.
It's a laugh
Settings.
of approval, not of
Settings.
disappointment.
You gotta
Oh,
change the
that's
tone in the
alright.
first part. It's killing me.
It's so
Every time
good
he's
to
like,
be back.
ooh, oh no, 24. Yeah.
It's a great swerve for the
Yeah.
audience reaction. Okay, so Abby, as you're still having conversation with Morgort, you start to take that mirror out over to the rope. Again, you see, some of you are a little skeptical. You see this fairly large and ornate mirror with a good gold outline of it that's kind of like warped and wraps around and has these cool designs kind of all over it. Mirrors are brittle. It's a little sketched out, but you're like, Lucy seems pretty capable. You see Lucy just going to this rope, and you see Lucy just looking at it up, eyeing it, kind of licking the two thumbs and getting good grip around one hand and getting a good grip around the other. You see Lucy start climbing up, and the rope has a little bit of room before it starts to get taut. And then you see the rope get taut as the mirror kind of starts to climb up it. And as soon as that rope is taut, Lucy kind of like falters from the rope a little bit, like, it's a little bit heavier than you thought. You start to wrap your leg around the bottom part of the rope, get a good cinch in there, and those ethereal, demon-like wings just start to sprout out as you take like a little bit of a, as you take a little bit of a deep breath. And this sort of wisp of red mist kind of leaves the corner of your eyes, and you just dig in deep, and and the rest of you just see Lucy just climbing up this fucking rope. Just going hard, lifting up this heavy piece of mirror as you see him going up and further up into the clouds. CrossFit's got nothing on this fucking dude. And you just see him disappear.
Nice. Well, that was easy. Who's next?
Well, I think more familiar faces should go up before I go up.
All right. I'm not really good at this.
I'll be here to catch you, Quincy.
I could throw you.
Yeah.
Here's
I
the
get
shot
into
down.
a
Done that
into a
before.
position to be thrown.
All right, Arcturion, make me an athletics check.
Athletics.
Put the goggles on. Get ready.
Oh my god.
I'll be like,
I'm not even gonna give you
Evie, I'm
disadvantage 'cause
coming
I wanna
up.
see this.
Wait, can I give you a help action?
22.
Does Evie
Never
hear
mind,
this?
you're good.
Does Evie hear this though? In
Not
the
yet.
middle of
You're-
his
you're-
conversation?
'cause remember, the balloon is like a good 80 feet up in the air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
you're
why I was
hearing,
like, okay.
murmurs and whispers down below, but you can't really hear conversations because you're too busy just wrapping off all the things that you did one after the other. You're
It's
kind
like
of
hyper-focused.
too in focus on the conversation you're having as Morgort is just like pinching their bulbous frog nose and being like, oh my god, I thought this was supposed to be an easy job. But Quincy, with your bad luck with climbing ropes these last couple days, Arcturion just puts up, I could throw you, and you're like, you know what? Do it!
Oh.
You just
Hey.
get into like a little ball position on the ground. You see Arcturion pick you up. Moss, did you want to help?
I'll give the help action. I think he did really well without.
I got
me.
22.
I'm gonna help. I'm gonna help.
Okay. All right.
You could get in that 20.
I'm
So
just
Yeah.
waiting for the moment where like Quincy
Look at
pops
that
up and
20.
let's see my friend's alive. For now. Oops.
That's awkward.
Just pops up in the
You
just
bar and
can't-
goes back.
Okay.
22 is the highest.
22. Okay, so as you're like picking up Quincy, who's just like holding himself in a ball-like position, goggles on, your claws kind of digging a little bit into Quincy's sort of hide, leather adornments, just like not enough to like break into them, but just get a good grip. And you're like,
like, oh boy.
Hold
and
still.
you're like kind of
don't
like doing a
move.
couple practice swings up. Moss comes behind you and was just like, maybe just a little bit more to the left. The wind's kind of going out this way. And they're like,
Look at my paw.
Yeah.
1, 2.
And I go one full circle. And wow.
Oh.
So Abby, you do hear this.
Okay. I was like, stop.
As you're talking, like, and then you came across these little lordlings, and then we fought a lot in this cube, and then
Just Quincy goes rocketing past.
I told you my friend was alive.
you see Quincy. Yeah, so Jennings, you as well.
Quincy!
A half elf, balled up, Quincy's goggles just dart past you through the clouds as you're just crossfitting up this fucking rope with a mirror behind you. Your half elf friend bullets past you, Ebby as well. You're talking, as the ball of Quincy just hovers in there for 2 seconds beside you.
Hi.
Hi! I grab
I
him!
need you to make a dexterity saving throw, Quincy, to grab onto whatever before you rocket back.
Got a high. I'll catch
It's an 18. It's an 18.
18. So you just grab onto the basket.
Help me! 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 Help me!
I'm coming. What are you doing? This doesn't look safe. Come on.
I look over. Give Archer a thumbs up.
I'm happy I said maybe alive because this one worked.
Fun work.
Good, he didn't die.
We got friends coming.
I'm gonna
Standing
take-
there, stunned, it just eyes wide, just.
Can we bring this a little lower?
But first, and then it goes back to his story.
Cut from there down to the bottom of the porch with Moss and Arctreon.
I'm gonna take my patched up dress. I'm going to like cinch all of the I'm gonna stuff all the jars in there because I have all the jars, and I'm going to try and jump onto the rope to climb up.
Okay.
Okay.
Likewise.
Yes.
Archer has a dress. Stitching it up.
Yeah.
Girding up the loins.
What'd you roll?
Jars break.
It's a strength check, right?
Mhm.
Oh, is it strength? Oh, okay. Nope.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21.
That's a 6.
6. So Moss, you kind of try to go up, and with the mirror kind of swaying behind Lucy, the rope is kind of going a bit back and forth a little bit. So you're just like, all right, I got this. And you're kind of like talking to Arctron for a bit. And you don't really look before you leap. You just go,
And the rope goes that way.
just like a typical cat that just like jumps up to a piece of string, but the string just kind of like sways this way. You just fall on the ground completely. Don't fall off the porch.
Oh my God.
Because you're on the ground level. So it's okay. Like you just missed it and fell down. And Arctron just kind of looks at you.
You
Are
did
you sure
not
you're a feline? Are
see.
you sure?
You want to hold these jars? Here,
No,
have an
no,
extra
no,
weight
I don't
to
want
it.
jars. No, I don't want your jars.
No, you try it.
I know it's in
Seriously.
that. I probably peed in that pool. You have no idea. You have no idea.
Don't tell Effie.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay,
No
well, I
bones,
guess.
no bones.
Slow bones.
No bones.
Okay, so I guess I won't jump. If the rope's in front of me, I'm just going to make a second attempt to climb it.
All right, make another athletics check.
Oh,
Or
an
strength
athletics.
check.
Oh, strength still. Okay.
If you miss, I'm throwing you.
I'll act as a javelin. What the fuck? The 2. Yeah.
So for some reason,
She's
you're trying to
nervous.
you literally the rope is like not dangling around. You like stop it, and you're just like fumbling these jars under your arm. You're kind of doing it one-handed, and then you're trying to like wrap your leg around it, but you're just not. You keep like not getting a good grip. You take one of your jars to wrap it around your tail, so you got like 2 under your arm and 1 in your tail, and it's just really cumbersome, and you're just like, fucking, you just can't seem to get a grip to get up.
Day for me.
Listen, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. What's that over there?
A jar rolling on the ground. Oh no. Okay, well.
Can I yell?
What was it?
Oh,
What jar was it? I couldn't. I was
Oh,
having
no
audio
jars
issues.
broke just yet.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
not-
They're not.
I came in.
because, like,
I
It'd
came
be
in back
different if
on-
like the rope was far away from the porch and Moss had to like jump over to grab it. They would have smacked hard, but they're still like on ground level with it, so it's not like
Oh, okay.
they only got up like a couple, maybe like a foot, and then just fell back down.
Sorry, I had audio issues. So I just came into the
Smash.
the jar breaks. I'm like, what?
But yeah, for some reason, Moss, you're just having a hard time climbing up this rope. Do you want to try anything else?
You could tie the rope around you and we could pull you up.
Okay, I'll just be like the last to go up. Then I'll tie it around my waist, and you guys will just see me like hung very deflated as you like.
just slowly lifts up. Like,
Yeah. As we like go away, just like don't even like don't know.
Well, so first
Shit.
off, Archer, are you gonna try to go up the rope before this?
I did 21. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Technically, I
Moss
was
is down
waiting
the
for her,
bottom,
but
and you're like,
Yeah.
keep on trying. I'll tell them to lower it down for you, so you don't have to worry about this anymore. Those jars
I'll
seem
stay
like
here.
hard. Yeah, so you start climbing up the rope again, pretty easy for you. You just like huff up one wrapped around, and you just keep wrapping your arm around the rope, and you're just lifting yourself up more and more and more. You're not even like climbing it. You're making the rope climb you as you just keep wrapping more rope around you with your hulking bicep.
technically that would take her up with me.
Well, you're on the bottom. There's no more rope to give. You keep.
Oh, I
wrapping
thought
up
she
in
was.
your
I
arm.
thought she was attached to the rope. I was like, damn, I'm strong. Like one arm, just like one person. Like
But you get up.
Tuesday.
You start to wrap yourself around. You're like, I'll have them lower the balloon for you. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Start wrapping the rope around. You start to get up several feet, and then you see Moss. You see Archeron's feet start to go up, and you keep wrapping your arm around the rope, Archeron, as you go up a little bit.
Yep.
And then you're seemingly just climbing in place for a good 3 minutes while Moss is just looking at you.
He's levitating.
Am I almost there? Ah!
Until the top half of the rope starts to just kind of like float down and start to like lean on top of you and drape down as the majority of the balloon starts to lower itself from the conversation earlier. to
You're a
lower
heavy
the
cat.
balloon down.
Ugh.
With Lucy, you got all the way up to the top with the mirror behind you, so you're able to climb up to the top basket and just heave that, sort of pull up that mirror and safely get it onto the top basket. As you can still hear Abby saying, and then this happened, and then we did this, but then I made friends with this guy, and then Morgar's just like, just breathing in and out super calmly just to like get past this part.
I need
You
some
start to
art
see
of
the
that
basket
ASAP.
lower down. What was that?
I need some art of that ASAP.
Yeah.
We're just like steam coming out, and Emmy just.
Until eventually for Moss and Archeron, you see that the wicker basket of the balloon start to come through the fog and the cloud cover and starts to come like fairly below near the porch, where there's a good slag of rope coming from the basket to the giant balloon above. So just enough for the basket to hover near you. And if you want to just climb up there, I won't make you check.
I uncinch my dress and immediately just let the jars like fall in. These were the only reason I needed you guys to come down and get me, okay? And I just like hop inside, just like.
I'll lean over outside the basket. Clapper claw, come on!
No one.
Yes, right away, friends. I'll be right
Come
there.
on!
Little lower.
Lower!
He's pushing this massive airship, and he's just
Right,
like this big.
Little lower.
Can Lucy lower his rope that he's now untied from the mirror down to Clapperclaw?
Yeah, so you sort of untie the mirror up on the basket, and it's a lot of weight in this basket now as well. Like as soon as you got in there with the mirror, the basket kind of like lowered itself a little bit. You can tell like the propulsion of the gas is kind of fighting to keep you guys afloat a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit overloaded, but you're doing okay so far.
Okay.
But the rest of you kind of all plopped in there, and Morgard kind of seeing like 5, 6 people kind of all huddled around them, and then Cloverclaw's like, a little lower, come on, just a little bit. And you're like, Cloverclaw, here, climb on, buddy. Take your rope, put it over the basket.
Oh, is it cutting the rope?
Yes. Yes. Crab claws.
So Lucy sees his rope like slowly being destroyed. Is the only rope that he has like from his pack. He goes, okay, stop, wait.
No, hold on. I'll get it. Keep going.
No.
Lucy just goes ahead and just knows it's not a good idea, pulls out the rope back and just jumps out of the balloon down to land on the porch right next to Cloverclaw.
You're like, all right, come here, buddy. It's fine. I swear to God, I almost had it. It's just right there.
Lucifer looks up and says, Hey, Ark, you ready? No, sorry. Hey, Ark, you ready for a little bit of catch?
Sure, what am I catching?
Wait.
And without saying anything, Lucifer just chucks.
Hold on. I just Archer
Snack.
Make a to grab
Strength check.
Clabbertraw.
What? Sorry.
Just a dex check.
Just a dex check.
This is if you can grab him in time as he's
I got
floating up.
6.
6.
I was not prepared.
15. So as you look, you just hear Jennings just being like, here, I'm going to throw him up. And you're like, oh, all right. And just before you can go up there, the Clabberclaw goes, whoa! And just grabs onto your face. And you're like, oh!
Don't hurt the little angel.
Is he cutting his hair?
He's so strong.
There's a couple tufts at the back that are...
Oh, no. We're gonna have a fall patch.
just like a little one. It was so quick because you got a high dex that you don't feel it.
Okay.
But I think Quincy, you have the highest passive, don't you? Perception.
Yeah, I have 14.
Yeah,
Everyone else is lower than 14, right?
I'm 14 too.
14.
So we all see it.
Yeah. So most of you do see just like this little tuft of Leonin hair just fall to the ground.
Swipe it up, put it in waffles.
For potential revivify spell.
Hey, you never know.
Morgard, I would like to learn to pilot. Can you teach me?
Yes. Let's just get the fuck out of here first.
And
Good idea.
Can Lucifer quickly leap up and just grab the rope?
Yeah, for sure. Grab up on there, grab back into the basket. All 5 of you are now in tow as Morgard lifts up the swamp balloon balloon further and further back up into the sky, sort of leaning back, not in any general direction, but just getting back airborne. And as the swamp gas is being emitted, Morgard comes to you and says, okay, before we go anywhere, I have questions. Ebby, please, I know. You just hold on, okay? I got a lot of information. Just
Hold on to what?
the basket. Hold on to the basket.
Evan simply turns away just.
That's exactly how it went.
First off, and looks over to you, Archeon. You. What clan do you come from?
I hail from the Western Plains tribe.
It's like the Eastern Plains tribe, except in the West.
Except for the West.
Or north.
Have your people been dealing with the Hourglass Coven? Who do you swear fealty to?
Will not. Can I do a deception check?
I can't hear him.
Is your audio out?
No, I think
is your
he's
audio
looking.
out, mate?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, there
No,
it is.
he's
No,
looking.
he's
stuff.
looking
No,
at
I'm
you.
just
Talking to
mumbling. I
himself.
apologize. No, I'm so sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good, you're
Kevin,
good.
is this a? Did we discuss this, or is this just like my?
This is all you, man.
Just say you swear fealty to yourself.
I was, yeah, okay. So I swear loyalty to myself. Sorry,
No bones.
sorry. I wasn't prepared for this question. I apologize.
That's all good.
Low bones.
Saying that, so we'll just take that back. So going to you, just looks at you in the eyes, and it's just like there's a look of concern on this bullywog's face, this frog-like humanoid with hide armor all over them, spear on the ground, goggles on their head, this kind of like sort of flight cap beanie floating down and leathers on either side, and just like bandages wrapped around their web-like hands.
Okay.
Just looking at it straight up, like, who do you swear fealty to?
Okay, I actually have an answer now. So I just stutter. I'm just like,
My father. I swear loyalty to myself.
So you've done no work with the Hourglass Coven at all.
He actually was trapped in there in Bavlorna's thing and was like in a gelatinous cube, which I'm sure that Abby already told you about. But when he popped out, he said he was trying to kill the Hourglass Coven.
Yes. I do not work for them. I am chasing them.
So we have a bounty hunter.
Lucifer reaches over. Low bones.
No bones.
He's just such a fan of this new character in the squad.
And this whole new kind of handshake thing is like, oh, this is so fun.
low bones is amazing.
It's incredible.
Good.
Oh, by the way, we're going to need to make a stop back at the Soggy Court.
Usagi, what?
You are.
All right.
You're going to.
We have a storm cloud balloon to pick up.
After I learn how to pilot.
We can learn on the way.
I can teach you the simple mechanics of the balloon, but that Stormcloud balloon, I don't know how they configured it or exactly how they made it, but it should work with the basic principles of how these swamp gas balloons work. But I've never ridden a Stormcloud balloon before. It might be a bit different, but I can give you a little bit of a crash course.
Great.
Full set, no thoughts, set empty.
So you're going to help us with the revolution then?
Yes.
Yes.
For my people.
What
the
does
violence
that
in-
entail?
Is there violence involved?
Oh, hopefully, yes, absolutely.
Then absolutely.
Oh,
We have an
please don't.
hourglass coven to take care of. If there are still people in the Soggy Court for us to take out, we shall take them out when we arrive.
And maybe
The Hourglass Coven have been taking advantage of the bullywogs for far too long. They have corrupted their minds. They have put corrupt people in places of power, and the locals couldn't take it anymore. That's why when you all arrived, we knew this was our time to strike, to act. But I can no longer wait on the sidelines. I have to be with my people. I have to make sure that everything is okay. The way that we left all of that, I was hoping that Bavlorna would have been taken out, which looks like you made friends.
Wait, that's not quite accurate. Abby, what did you tell her, Morgort? We did not make friends with Bavlorna.
wait a minute.
Well, she didn't kill us, so you know.
There was a bit of a difficulty in the killing, quote unquote, aspect area, but
Someone did die.
if we are able to take out the Hourglass Coven by making them hate each other, then they will focus on each other and hate each other and kill each other, and then we will be there to third party, as it were,
Speaking of
You confirm the kills.
to confirm the kills.
Pick off what's left.
Speaking of Hayden Bavlorna, did anyone leave a note that we took them here?
What? No.
Shut up.
Borrowed permanently.
Lucifer's over there just like
Commandeered.
shining the mirror with his sleeve.
Like, I'm just thinking, wouldn't she be mad? But it's so nice if you want it, right?
And as Morgort is like sort of the balloon is a pretty good elevation now, kind of above the cloud cover. This gorgeous sort of pink and yellow hue of the sunset against the swampland is kind of taken over. It's a very lovely, serene sort of scenescape in front of you. And sort of the vapors of sulfur and everything from the swamp below is kind of like dissipated. Now you're just kind of smelling fresh, clean air for the first time in a couple hours. But as the swamp gas is kind of above the cloud cover now, And as Quincy, you say that, the plan to like make them, get mad at each other and break them from the inside, Morgor just starts to. This must be your first time tangling with the Hourglass Coven, huh?
Well, we seem to be doing a good job so far.
Hey, don't bash us. We're trying.
How's it going for you so far?
Yeah,
Well,
Mr. We and my
I
people.
don't mean to insult. That's not my intention. It's just these decrepit, warped sisters already hate each other pretty fucking much. They
Well, then good. Our job's almost half done.
But their sense of survival is paramount above all else. If you're going to make them hate each other, you're going to have to somehow make them think that them being together is endangering each other. Their bond is strong. No doubt.
Doubt that.
Interesting. We'll see what we can do.
They're always trying to screw each other over, steal their own things, take more land, take more prisoners, take more of their things. But at the same time, no matter how much they steal from each other, no matter how much they're jealous of each other, how much power they gather and grow, it never seems to be enough. No matter who they enslave, no matter who they take hold. And you see Morgor just start to get really kind of upset and shaken as like their grip is tightening around the big sort of ship wheel, and they're just getting kind of like into their emotions, and you can see them getting kind of verklempt.
Maybe we should do something nice instead. See what that does? Act like we did one favor to one to another.
Well, that seems
do
like
the
what
opposite?
your friends here are trying to do. Apparently, you're going to steal a portrait from Skabatha to give to Bavlorna.
That seems like a
If
solid
we-
plan to me.
If we can keep invoking the rules of reciprocity, eventually they'll have to owe us something pretty big.
Well, I can tell you this. If you see this revolution through, if you help my bullywog brethren get through this hard time and help them reclaim their land, you will have the full might of the Soggy Court by your side.
Oh, heck yeah. Let's go back and kill up some evil froggies.
Absolutely.
Aye.
I heard frog
What
eggs are good this time of year.
I would also like to learn as well with Moss on learning the controls and how to do it. That way I can also co-pilot
Okay.
and assist.
So, does anyone else want to try to take part in learning how the balloons work, or just the two of you?
Abby will
Lucifer will
go.
let the two truly interested ones go first, and if he needs to
Okay.
partake, he will.
What was that, Eddie?
Abby will go.
Yeah, you want to learn too? Okay. So, the three of you make me intelligence checks.
Ugh.
This is why I didn't do this.
I got a 9.
Nine.
Got a 10.
10.
16.
16.
I see some levers and a pumping gas thing, and it causes fire. Why are you going to set the thing on fire? That's what I get.
So as Morgor tries to explain to you over the journey of going back from Bavlorna's cottage towards the Soggy Court, the balloon drifting in and out of clumps of cloud and fog cover. The skyline around you is glittered with pastel colorations, pinks, yellows, blues, as the sun is setting more and more down below the skyline. Morgor talking to you all about how the swamp gas balloon operates. There's obviously swamp gas that is collected to fill the balloon above. It is not finite. It will run out eventually, so you do have to refill it. As far as the mechanics...
What? Like, is there a specific type of fuel source? Is it like coal or
It's literally swamp gas. It is gas collected from the swamplands below, with a sort of contraption that they have, sort of a sort of arcana net that they go into certain areas of the swamplands where the methane bubbles its most purest, and they kind of just gather this sort of dream catcher like weave of materials with multicolors from various trees in the Feywild that have a bit of a magical property that allows them to just catch air and grab it up. So imagine kind of like a big garbage bag that's kind of like flat, and they just whip it around till it catches air till it becomes a bit of like a pocket, and then wrap it up. And they take those bags of gas to sort of a storeroom where they were able to store up the balloon and fill it up with it.
Interesting.
There seems to be a pulley lever system that, ignites the gas, much like a normal balloon, that helps it go vertical up and down. There seems to be a sort of big wheel, kind of like a big ship wheel at the front to help it go to and fro. There's a little propeller in the back that kind of helps it push along. So a little flap kind of indicates it for you to be able to turn on an axis. So like lever being pulled by show of strength, kind of pulling it down more, emits more fire to light the gas to make it go up, and then making that fire go out, making the lever kind of go back into the balloon, dissipates it, helps it to kind of stay afloat. And like there's another little lever that helps to pour out some of the gas to make it lower. For Moss, hearing a lot of this, it's a lot of words being thrown around. There's a lot of swamp gas talk. There's a lot of propellers and things. And, part of you is more interested in the serene kind of environment that you're in with the beautiful sunset around, kind of thoughts and images about your homeland and your home life kind of go into you. And you're kind of more concerned about that at the moment than how this balloon works. You're more of a fuck around and find out kind of person, kind of similar to Quincy. It's kind of how you guys kind of get along so well. You just kind of like, you're taking in these notes and you're like, okay, that's how the balloon works. And yeah. And you just kind of like see yourself kind of drifting off to the side, watching the sunset. Quincy as well, you having a vested interest in the Stormcloud mechanics, you're trying your hardest to be involved, but you keep asking questions as she's giving answers. So you let her get like halfway. Okay, but then how does this work? All right, well, like so first you pulled him up. Yeah, but like, how does it go forward? How does it if there was a storm cloud, how would you capture it? And you're kind of like asking Morgort questions that she doesn't really know the answers to. And you can see her kind of get a little bit frustrated. Like, wait, no, but so the lever gets pulled. I don't know how the storm thing works. Just hold on. So you'll turn this to left, turn this to right. But Ebby, you being a very patient person, a very calm person, you're just kind of sitting down in the basket, kind of cross-legged, your wings kind of flapped over each other, and you're just listening very intently and being very patient. You're absorbing every piece of info that Morgort is talking. You know exactly how much pressure to pull on the lever to let the gas go in, how much to pull on the lever to release the gas, to make it go down. Very good sort of how the wheel in this swamp gas balloon works, that you have to give it just enough taut to make it go right, go left, how to do like a sharp turn, how to do like sort of a drifting motion, how the propeller and the flap works in the back, so that if those were ever broken or if they were ever injured, you know precisely what to do to fix it, what gears may need to be replaced. If the fin is out of whack, if the propeller gets broken, you know like how to properly replace it, those sort of really important things. So you're listening fairly intently. So for Quincy and Moss, very interested at the start, kind of focus a little bit. Quincy being a little too overexcited, keeps asking more questions than retaining answers. But for you, Ebby, you have been listening intently the entire time and have a very good idea about how this particular swamp gas balloon works and the mechanics of it overall.
As we're going, can I also make another like intelligence check, like just as the time goes, to just like see if it sticks?
Sure.
Okay.
Do another intelligence roll. Do you have any specific questions that you'd like to ask with this roll?
Are most weather balloons engineered the same way, like same principles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What'd you roll?
19.
So asking Morgort, do they all work the same? Basically, like with the storm cloud balloon, work the same? She was just, well, I mean, technically, yes. I have never ridden it myself. It was a very special job. It looks like it was a very custom-made balloon. Should have the same mechanics, but storm clouds are extremely unpredictable. I mean, using that as an energy source is wild. I mean, I would guess that if you set at the right frequency and were able to, I don't know, somehow induce a thunderbolt, that baby would rocket to the moon.
Noted.
Did
All right.
you hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But as some time kind of goes by, about like 5, I think if we said like it was around like 5 hours or so to go from the kingdom to the cottage. The sunset is getting lower and lower, and the sheen of night is starting to combat the pastel colors of the sunset. You start to see stars start to peer over top of you, sort of invading the sereneness of the cotton candy environment that's forming and fading quickly, until eventually you start to smell something different. As the night starts to take over around you, the environment changes. The fog around you that was a light sort of grayish color becomes darker. The hue starts to change as the smells from fresh air turn to smoke and ash. As the weather balloon starts to come in towards the soggy court, 4 or 5 hours have gone by so far. Some of you are kind of nodding off. Some of you are conversing with each other about what's to happen and what's to come. Moss, you feel a slight tingle on your cheek. As the whiskers kind of tickle you, you smear your finger across the tuft of your fur as ash lines your finger and across the coloration of your hair. And the rest of you kind of look up. You start to see almost a rainfall of ash floating up and floating down as the charcoal smell of wood and debris starts to invest themselves into your nasal cavities. You look down below you and you can see through the billow of dark smoke, orange tufts of light several feet down below you. And the sound of battle in various pockets all over the soggy court. Not like a giant Lord of the Rings sized seismic fight, just various clanging of weapons scattered in all directions around you. Over here! What would you like to do?
Are we nearby the land?
You're sort of starting to get over top of the main part of the soggy court. You're just entering off from the outskirts and going deeper into the middle section from where you believe you kind of were hanging out.
Can we
around the
see
gazebo area.
who's fighting who?
It's all smoke. You were above the cloud cover. You just see basically smoke from fire, from ash, from battle, from destruction, and bits of ash raining down all around you. And some of you, some of the ash starting to hit your different skins, different furs, and you kind of smeared around your hands and on your armors and on your clothes, signifying this is indeed ash. But you can't see down below you. It's all smoke and dancing. You just see tufts of firelight everywhere.
Okay. I think at that point I would just turn to Morgart, be like, you know this place best. Find us a place to land and we'll go from there, but we can't see anything from up here.
And all Morgart, take it over from here. And you see them take the goggles on their face over theirs, and this clear glass that you see. And they're big too. Remember, she has a frog head, so they don't just go over people's eyes. They're over on the other side of the mammoth amphibian head. And you see the clear glass suddenly changed into a dark black onyx color. And then several peaks of glitter sort of permeate the front of the glass. And they sort of crank the outer silver layer of the goggles, and this other layer of metallic armor just clamps over. Let's go. And they just spin the front of the wheel as the whole balloon starts to go down into the smoke.
Yeah, because smoke, we can't do night vision or the dark vision thing. Okay, just making sure.
I imagine Lucifer's new fancy goggles won't help through smoke either.
Not with this. But it is here, everyone, that we're going to take an early break because I believe Jennings does have to get off to their event. So I wanted to take a little break here to transition from that. as we go down to the soggy court. But Jennings,
No.
lovely to see you, friend. Thank you for joining the first part of the stream. I think Jennings will be back in full for next session, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you so much, my friend. And for
As
the rest of
always.
you, do not go anywhere. We will take a short break for just like 5-10 minutes or so to refill the drinks and all that. And we will see how the Monarch 4 has left the soggy court. So do not go
Oh,
anywhere. See you in a few.
no.
And we're back. Thank you so much for letting us take a quick break to refill the drinks, stretch out the legs, and continue on with the rest of our adventure. Shout out to Jennings. Thank you for joining us for the start there, my friend. We will see him on the next adventure. But until then, let's find out what the F's going on in the soggy court, everybody.
Oh no.
So, last we left off, as your swamp gas balloon starts to lower down in the smoke-filled environment of what was left behind of the soggy court, you heard murmurs of multiple small skirmishes going on down below. You saw various orange lights kind of struggling to come through the smoky billioness down below. But as you told Morgort, go down, pick a good spot, and let's see what's happening, she took the wheel and veered it over to the right, pulled down on the levers, emitting the gas to lessen as it started to slowly go down. Wisps of ash are coming across your face and along your armament. The various smoke building across your face as some of you are having to cover your mouths, put rags and things over you as not to breathe it all in. I'm going to have all of you roll Constitution saving throws from the smoke that you are currently breathing.
Oh no!
This isn't gonna go good. All right, it's fine.
Bad dice.
24.
24.
6.
6.
A 1.
A 1. Okay.
A 3.
But
3.
do I add my
You're in
Constitution? 'Cause
jail.
that'll be 3 for me as well, but it's a 1.
So Constitution saving throw. You should have a saving throw modifier.
Yeah, so I rolled a natural 1, but it becomes 3.
Okay, so Moss, Quincy, and Evie,
Oh my God.
you are, the smoke is kind of billowing pretty thick through this, and you see Morgort takes a scarf, whips it around their bulbous bollywog head and neck. Artreon, for some reason, you're just breathing it in. Pours upon us. You're fantastic.
We're used to fires in the Western Plains. They happen all the time.
For Lucy, natural 19. Lucy
Nice.
as well, coming from the hell plains of Avernus. Smoke is not necessarily a bad thing for them at this point. But for Quincy, Evie, and Moss, the smoke billows in past you. It takes you a moment before you can get any sort of material across your mouths, but you do breathe in a pretty heavy gulp of smoke, so you all take a point of exhaustion. Meaning you will have disadvantage on ability checks.
Cool.
For how
I can
long?
see it happening for Moss, where I take my tattered dress and I see Morgart putting the scarf around. I do the same, but there's a giant hole in front of my mouth, but I don't know it. So I'm still breathing in the smoke.
Oh, shit, I should have been playing with that fucking thing. So the basket starts to billow down into the lower parts of the soggy court. Huge clumps of smoke just cover your entire face, coughing heavily, but able to kind of put an arm around your mouth or any kind of material to block it. But you do cough heavily. Your vision becomes a bit blurred and a little stings as well as smoke is just racing past you. But eventually you get down to the lower levels and wisps of the smoke are still around, but you're kind of seeing this vision of this soggy court kind of decimated and just burnt to a crisp. That building that Quincy had set aflame, you can see a trail of fire billowing out from that location that has seemingly caught on to other buildings nearby. That building, I believe it was a weather balloon or place to make parts for a weather balloon. It was a workshop of sorts. That building is just burnt to the ground, like charcoal asunder. Like there's just bits of wood in big black piles and just a billowing chunk of smoke coming from it. You can see parts of scorched earth and swamp kind of riding out past it. You see various buildings just broken down. The gazebo where you had first met King Gullop. The battle that had started when you made your escape when you first left here. The ivory pillars just broken down, folded over. The throne just ripped into several pieces all over the ground. You see scorch marks from arcane blasts. You see various spears and swords and rapiers, some into carcasses of bullywogs, some into carcasses of Sahagwyn, the sort of merfolk-like amphibious people that lived under the waters of the Saga Court, where if you remember, there was a bit of a contention between the two races for control over this land. When you had left, as you left and the revolution started, you remember seeing the chieftain of the Sahagwyn people starting to just fire off in all directions with the revolutionary bullywogs behind them collapsing and colliding with the royal bullywogs. You are now seeing the aftermath of these events. Dirt and rubble are everywhere. Bits and bobs of bullywog and Sahagwyn are like floating in swamp water.
Oh!
And you can hear just off the corner of your ears as the basket kind of lands and falls down. This eerie silence is kind of taking hold around you as whistles of wind kind of rush by you as Morgort takes off their glasses, their goggles for a minute off their sides. Holy shit. And just looks around at the devastation around you. And as Morgort kind of hops off of the basket, takes a few steps of crunching of scorched earth and burnt swamp life around you. Just hear crashing and clashing and just that's disappearing behind the bellows of smoke around you. And then you hear, hey, you're hearing whispers of the language of the Sahagwyn billowing out in the fog. Instantly makes hairs on the back of your neck stand. You all take readying stance inside the basket. Some of you jump out, trying to figure out where the hell that's coming from. Morgort picks up a spear, has it ready. There's silence once more. And then you hear a pair of footsteps running towards you. You can't tell where it's coming from the fog and the thick smoke blocking all of your view. Then you just see a silhouette of a Sahagwyn rush to you, Archeron. Ah! Jumps out until a spear hits it right in the neck. Sahagwyn skids across the ground. And you see some webbed feet start to patter against the dirt and the mud. And you see this incredibly fairly muscly looking amphibious creature, kind of a mix between a bullywog and a snapping turtle, with like spiked armaments kind of blocking the tops, the front of their chest, and kind of sort of a spiked shell on the back. Their sort of frog lips a little bit pointed and pierced, and you can see Morgort instantly recognize this person as she goes up. Ah, good shot, my friend! Just runs out and just grasps their forearm and goes in for a hug. I would have want no one better than the Count of Bogbottom Bluff himself to be at our side. Come. What has been going on? What has happened to this land? And this sort of hulking, big, sort of battletoad-looking bullywog takes the spear out of the neck of the Sahagwyn and just kind of looks on. I don't know.
What happened here, Morgort? It seemed like we had the battle won. King Gollum had been slain. The chieftain of Sahagwyn 1 foot over them. And we had some of the royals captured, ready to go. The Sahagwyn people were by our side. And then I don't know what happened next. The shaman picked up the crown, held it in his hands, stared at it for a moment, turned around, said something in their native tongue, and the Sahagwyn turned on all of us. We had spilled blood, sweat, and tears to take over back our court. The Sahagwyn betrayed us. We don't know what happened.
Wait, who are the Sahagwyn?
The
I'll say that.
Marin. The
The
Marin.
merfolk people.
The
that
merfolk
were
people,
living in the
okay.
lake. The chieftain that you had freed and
Mhm.
were in sort of a that you were forced to go to battle for to show your dominance over the Sahagwyn. The King Gullop had tried to convince you to execute the chieftain of the Sahagwyn to
Mhm.
show dominance over their people so that they can continue controlling them.
Mhm.
And the three of you put on kind of a show, and then had Morgort come down and give you that bit of an escape route before you got that piece of paper that shadowed the passphrase to have the revolutionaries come and sort of enact
Mhm.
the start of the fight.
Oh no. I want to kind of huddle our group while Morgard is talking to like her chieftain. I'm like, guys, I think Lucifer was behind this.
Oh, wait, what happened? What happened here? What?
Do you remember when him and Evie were talking like that, like dark language? I'm pretty sure there was one word I heard, and it was like, "The land is yours," or that phrase that I heard, "The land is yours." I don't think Lucifer meant it actually, but
Oh
I think
my
he took it.
gosh.
I think we were part of this betrayal,
Wait a
guys.
minute. So you say you started all this?
Not on purpose. They were very literal with their words. I didn't talk cathedral or whatever the dark language is, but
You people are monsters.
And I like exit the huddle.
Burn.
You're just. Oh gosh, guys!
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you
no.
saying this to Lucifer as well, or are you like huddling like?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
Lucifer's
so
in
Lucifer,
here
what-
too.
Yeah,
What did you say?
Lucifer. You
What
were
did
the
I
one
say?
talking to the chieftain, and I remember he got really happy when you pointed out like the candle flame burning the building and whatnot. But what did you promise him?
I didn't promise him anything. I simply stated what was part of the plan, what was known, that the land would be theirs, and
Oh,
we would all live in harmony. I mean,
Okay.
that was part of the plan, no?
All right. So what do we do? Do we
Get things right.
do we save the bullywogs from these mer people? Yes or no?
I would say yeah. Honestly, I think what Lucifer meant to say was that the merfolk would inhabit the water and the toads and bullywugs would inhabit the land and like the land of the Soggy Court. They've never lived in harmony together. So to think that they would, not smart of us. But I don't think it came across that way.
How bad does the battlefield look like? Is there like a lot of fighting going on here?
So there doesn't seem to be like huge battles going on. It seems like you guys are coming at the end of the skirmish. You're hearing like maybe like 1 to 2, maybe 3 like one-on-one fights happening at various edges of the Soggy Court.
I want to look at the person that ran up to Morgort. Who do we know them?
You have not seen them before. They're like you briefly saw them as they came up with like a ton of other bullywogs for the
Sure.
revolutionaries to come up.
Okay.
But you haven't formally met the Duke of Bogbottom.
I'm gonna jump out of the basket and kind of just survey everything. I'm like coughing still, like in my in under my bandana, and be like, I'm assuming everyone fell back. Are we? Like, it doesn't seem like everything's good. You're tending to your wounded, yes?
Yes. We are.
How many? How big is the enemy army? How massive? How surprised?
Well,
Did they come in full force? Did they?
We sent them packing. It was
Oh,
a
you
hard
did?
fight. Well, the best we could. The Shaman King had retreated back down below the depths to their caves. Most of their Sahagwin brethren, most of their numbers had dwindled, and we got the brunt of it. We think the Shaman King has retreated back into their lair down below. Our numbers are a bit wounded at the moment. There's too few of us to go chase him down. But
Sure.
He has the crown. He has the Soggy Court crown. We need that to instill leadership in our people. If we don't have that crown, all is lost.
To be fair, the leadership thus far, and I look over to see if the heads are roasted on spits or not, was not the most morally sound. What if we made a new crown or symbol of leadership?
Abby nudges to Moss and leans in close, like, what if the crown was cursed?
Then they don't want it anyway.
But they don't know it's cursed.
Might I recommend a democracy?
What?
Might I recommend a democracy?
Okay.
Sorry, do you say out loud, like, what if it's cursed, or are you just kind of like thinking that?
No, I say that to Moss.
I think it's been within earshot. After I proposed making a new crown, he's like, well, it could be cursed. Huh?
The thing is, though, he never put it on.
He just held it.
That's the
Right.
thing that we don't understand. Sure, if he put it on his head, maybe there could have been some curse that Bavlorn or the hags have been instilling in all these past kings. I mean, that would make sense. Puppet kings, puppet queens, puppet leaders for the hags to control. Makes perfect sense. But he never put it on.
Has
But
anyone
a
else
cur-
touched it?
A cursed item doesn't have to be worn, even if it is a hat. Isn't it just kind of like touch that causes some sort of like control or manipulation? Plus, even though the sisters are ruling unrightly so this domain, that doesn't mean that there may be other demons also trying to purge the Feywild.
The Hourglass Coven has a tight hold on these lands. I don't think
All right.
there'll be anyone else coming and take it willy-nilly.
Well, I can't breathe underwater, so
You want
cat,
this
so-
crown back? Why? Besides the symbol of power and everything, why do you desire the crown back so badly? If you could, in my opinion, we could help you rebuild. We're taking out the Hourglass Coven. Plans are in motions to disrupt them from the inside. If the Sahagwins leave you alone for now, since you have clearly shown your strength to them, tell me why you need that crown.
As Wolf here, kind of with their hulking presence, their sort of snapped turtle-looking lips, their frog-like head, their head kind of goes down for a minute, and Morgort kind of comes in a bit closer in the conversation.
Quincy, I know we haven't been friends for that long, but do you come from a lineage of any kind? Do you come from a culture of decades of history?
Not of one such as yours. And I don't mean to sound insensitive of like, forget the crown, but we're talking about a revolution. You've succeeded your revolution. What if it was a different era without a crown? I'm just saying consider it, because you have successfully won today. Well, we can help you, but is the crown specifically necessary?
Make a persuasion check.
Go for it. Go, go, go.
Ebby's going to be looking around his surroundings to try and see if he can see the storm balloon.
I'm using my inspiration for this. That's better. 15. I brought it up to 15.
Hmm.
Oh,
Oh my god.
okay.
Also a 15.
Oh.
So,
I'm not saying make a decision right now. It's a lot to deal with, and you have history. But could we take a night and sleep on it?
we can. This is not something that needs to be done. We need time to recoup. We need time to rest and to figure out what our next moves are going to be. But it's not as easy as just finding another. Traditions for us are everything. And for someone to just come in here and steal decades of tradition from us is a hard thing to accept.
Of course. Oh, absolutely. I'm not telling. I can understand why you would want it back. I'm asking maybe we give it a night and let's come back to it with a fresh face and clearer lungs.
And full bellies.
And Bloff kind of picks up the spear from his side. The Shaman King, he's crafty, powerful. The magic that they possess is not to be taken lightly. Sure, we've won this battle. Maybe his battalion of Sahagwin have been vanquished, but that look in his eyes, I can't help but think that they will be back. There are more Sahagwin within the Feywild rather than just the pocket that live here. They could be back tomorrow, they could be back in a week from now. If you do not want to help us, that is fine. We can figure out ways to deal with this ourselves. But
Actually,
we can sleep on it. Let us collect our wounded and see what we have in the morning.
might I ask this? Do you have an inventor, an artificer, someone amongst your ranks that is well equipped in arcane and industrial? If they are not wounded and they're cognizant, I would like to speak to them.
Meet us back in the soggy kingdom, back in the castle. We're going to regroup whatever people we have left, and we can see if they are gathered.
All right.
We have one particular knight who is a bit quirky, likes to dabble in inventive things.
Oh, that's the best kind, actually.
One of the first that actually just suggested the invention of the swamp gas balloons.
Oh.
His name is Fôlkvangr.
Well, I would like to. My intention, and I'm going to pull out Coco, or basically, I'm going to pull out Reggie from Waffles, and kind of have the turret appear. And I'm like, we don't want to leave you empty-handed, but if I can teach your artificer this, maybe you can replicate it. And I want to show them Reggie scoot around and kind of shoot in a general direction, kind of fairly, so it doesn't hit anybody, but yeah, just the power of a turret.
It's quite the firepower. We don't have a lot of... Looks around to the charred bits of swamp terrain, wood, grass. We don't necessarily have a lot of access to metal. But maybe an exchange of ideas wouldn't be so bad.
Even if you want, and that's where the magic comes in. Even if you could combine it with some weeds and swamp gas and mud and a little bit of poisonous herbs could make quite the bomb.
The Pondflower Knight does love his bombs, that's for sure.
We don't want to leave you empty-handed, but our goals aren't quite aligned at the moment either.
You've done more than enough to help kick off this revolution.
We will be more than honored to take any help that you can give us. We are on our way to regroup back into the Kingdom Court. We shall see you there. Morgoth,
See you there.
I'm glad you're still alive, friend.
And they just kind of, they like bump elbows together as this sort of more athletic looking bullywog just takes off. And as you're getting a bit closer look at him, you can see that the spiked sort of turtle shell has leather straps to it along his like sort of armored front that also seems to have straps to it. And you can see as they like see there's no immediate danger around, as they're walking off, they kind of take off the strap of the spiked shell and kind of put it on the backside. And they have
Nice.
sort of like Ninja Turtle sort of physique to them, with a bit more upright and just like rippling sinew of muscle tissue through their sort of frog-like body. And they're just chopping away into
Wow.
the fog.
I'd marry that. Anyway. Where
I
are we
hope that
going?
wasn't too forthright war guards, but we could be better service. Us, my friends here could be much better service taking out the coven right away than going after a crown. You seem to have that in hand quite well.
Still want to free Zybilna.
Well, I feel like that solves all the problems, doesn't it?
Sure would make things a lot less messy.
Yeah. All right. I think we could use a night's rest if that's all right, unless you need help with anything.
All this is kind of new. I have to kind of assess the damage with my friends, but it seems like the kingdom has been captured. King Gollop no longer will take residence in a place he never earned.
That is cause for victory.
And you suddenly hear little slapping of feet. Oh my god. As you see Clapperclaw's skull stag head just look around in all of the smoke and fire and debris. Well, this is all quite different now, isn't it? Oh.
Clapperclaw, we're gonna go take a rest now. Come on.
Sleep?
Yes.
Oh, I could definitely use a little bit of that.
I'm sure we all
Quite a
could.
trying time. Do you think the past kings' heads are still intact? I haven't talked to them in quite some time. I'm very much like.
All right, let's go. Over this way. Over this way.
I just thought.
No. And I guess we walk over to. I don't know where should we go? I was thinking straight to the balloon, and sleep at the balloon
Yeah, if there's enough room for everybody there.
at the
I don't-
Stormcloud.
Wherever we decide to rest, I want to vocalize to the team that I don't feel comfortable leaving them in this condition. That's my say.
Ark is not. I'm not attached to this moment at all because
Yeah.
I haven't been a part of this. This is
Right.
to me. I got you. I am here because we have one collective goal.
Mhm.
But other than that,
So if we're all at the Stormcloud balloon and we're all kind of like there and kind of just like having a more of a before to
So you
sleep.
guys are kind of like having this conversation as you're walking across. So like not all of the Soggy Court is destroyed, by the way. It's not all just like decimated. Just
Okay.
the central part. Kind of like think about, because you remember the Soggy Court because we had the map put
Mhm.
up before.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like
A U shape.
almost like a ring of landmass atop of a swamp, watery terrain. The middle part was somewhat solid, and there was a bit of an outskirt of like a half ring, and then water kind of in the bit of the middle and outside of it. Where that gazebo was, there's just like, imagine this radius of like harsh battlement that happened.
Yeah.
All the smoke is risen from that burnt area, leading off from the building that Quincy burnt off that kind of caught fire to other buildings, and sort of like when garbage kind of gets put afire, there's just like a billowing smoke that just rises up in the air and just kind of blocks all view. As you're kind of getting away from this sort of scorched earth radius, as you get out to those outer layers, sort of those buildings that were attached with the Stormcloud building was, it's sort of the destruction kind of dissipates and the grass kind of becomes green a little bit more. There are some areas that weren't as adversely affected as the central part of the Soggy Court. That's just kind of where everything popped off and just suddenly like arcane spells being thrown out, fire being caught onto other buildings. As you're walking around and kind of assessing the damage, you kind of can piece together this narrative, this story of how the battle kind of may have taken place and where things might have gone off from there. As you're kind of walking through the gazebo where the throne used to be, you're getting a closer look at the scorched throne that's kind of ripped in different parts. You can look around to the porcelain and tiled floor of the gazebo where you see like scorched marks from like arcane blasts being thrown off. Some bodies kind of floating around from the scuffle. Obviously, there were casualties, but as you kind of leave that and kind of go take a different route past the bridge where all those past kings of bullywogs on spikes were just like talking and flapping their gums. You want to lead Clabberclaw away from there. You find like a different path that's a bit more trudged in swamp water, but you're easily able to make past to the old shop where your old Darkling friends used to run. But you do see as the smoke is kind of clearing out from that area. It's still fairly foggy and there's smoke kind of billowing around, but it starts to clear out and you do see that very familiar, oh so impressive Stormcloud balloon where the basket sits on top of the roof of the shop, the various ropes teaming up higher and higher to this massive circumference of a balloon that's much bigger than the swamp gas balloon that you arrived in. It's literally a giant net, probably 4 times bigger than the balloon size that you arrived in, with a living storm cloud inside. So you're seeing like this dark hue of cloud captured inside with various metal net-like contraptions that wrap around it from all sides and are doubled down from various taut metal ropes and wire. And you can see these rolling clouds just like molding into each other and various lightning kind of and blue light kind of.
So as we're walking amongst like the bodies, I remember that the Knights of the Soggy Court had this spear that I really wanted.
There are many to choose from.
Can I do an investigation check to find one?
You sure can.
I can't remember the
Perception or
actual name of it. Investigation or what?
Investigation or perception.
Or perception, okay.
Wow. While she's doing this, Ebby reaches into his pocket and then tugs on Arcteon's side. And then holds up a little bit of jerky towards him.
Oh, yes, please.
That's a 15 for me.
15, okay.
It wasn't just a spear. It was
a glaive.
A glaive, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you go around and there are some bullywog knights that are slain in the dirt, in the mud, some Sahagwin that are also there from various battles. So you can see from some of these bullywog knights that there are various glaives, some at their side, some impaled in other enemies, some of them still wearing some of their battlements, some of their sort of frilly fancy armaments with some metal, what are you trying to say? Metal chest armor pieces. Breastplate, there, thank you. Some metal breastplates that were like adorned to have various colorations etched into them. So there's like sort of a brass collar to them with like stripe work. So there's like a brass stripe and then like dark white stripe that kind of goes down. Very like traditional sort of English royal colorations and styles, with like forearm gauntlets with like frocks coming out of them. So you could either just pick up the glaive, you could try to rustle some of this armor out if you wanted to. It's kind of up to you.
I think as a monk, I need to have either light or no armor.
True.
So I'm going to just go for the glaive.
All right.
And I'm going to just like stack it in the back, just like, yeah, I got my weapon.
Yeah, so you pick it up and it is a normal glaive. So you can just add that to your item list.
Nice.
There's a couple glaives around if anyone else wanted to try to find one for themselves, just because there are a couple Bullywog Knights around.
Does good damage.
They do 1d10 slashing.
They have reach.
They weigh 6 pounds. They're heavy, two-handed. It adds 5 feet to your reach when you attack with it. So that means you don't have to be in close range to hit. You get an extra 5 feet because it's tall. So technically, instead of hitting the square in front of you, you can hit 2 squares in front of you. And it works with it also works with opportunity attacks. You basically have a 10-foot reach. So if someone's 10 feet away from you and they don't have to be beside you and leave your space for an opportunity attack. They could be 5 feet away from you, leave your space. And because you have a glaive, you can smack them because you have a tall, basically big stick with a sharp blade on the end of it.
I'll take a look around.
I will also.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Now
two
that
he's
he's
a
a slave team.
Perception checks.
Perception?
Perception or investigation, up to you.
Do y'all think Lucifer would want one? Lucifer, you want one?
We can grab extra for the balloon.
Dirty 20.
Lucy reaches behind him to his insanely cool, sharp metal bow sword weapon that he. Oh, darling, I think I'm perfectly fine with this.
You never know. Can that reach 10 feet away? You tell me.
Fires a bow arrow, hits like 80 feet away. It's like, I've got reach pretty damn bad.
You'd waste an arrow for a person 10 feet away. Okay, you do you, boo. You do you.
I just rolled a 10.
You can go get that arrow?
I mean, yes, I never just. 10. What'd you get? In
Dirty 20.
dirty 20.
Oh.
So yeah, Arctron, you find one first, kind of like in that same battlement, that same battle that these bodies have been slain. That Moss picked one up. There's another one not too far. It's like 2 battled here, 2 battled over there.
Mm-hmm.
Take it out of the ground, wipe the dirt, the mud, the caked on blood off of it. This will be handy. Put it back. Same with you, Ebby. For Aarakocra Druid, there are some weapon restrictions for Druids, I believe. There are some weapons that you have to learn how to be proficient in, I think.
And what is this one?
So it's a martial melee weapon.
So I can use weapons I use are cloud daggers, darts, javelins, mace, quarterstaffs, scimitars, sickles, slings, and spears.
So, So it doesn't say martial weapon. Let me just double check that.
Yeah.
I'll say you have it for now, but we might have to renege that, but we'll see. We can just have it just for the party anyways, just to have it in like your collective stuff.
That's fine. That's fine. Unless there's something else around that's not that I can find, I'm totally okay with that. Like if I could do like an arcane type thing, I don't know if they'll have anything arcane.
Yeah, I think it should be fine, because if you can have a spear, I wouldn't see why you couldn't have a glaive. Just some classes are weird with certain weapon types, but for now, let's just say you got it. Should be fine. But yeah, so as you're walking towards the Stormcloud balloon, having these conversations, you're kind of looking at some of the remnants of the revolution.
I think they're doing fine here. I don't see a reason why we need to stay super long.
They're doing fine now, but there could be an onslaught in the future. I fear that we left it alone. Like, obviously we had other things to deal with, but we left it alone once. I fear leaving it alone again.
You have 3 days to get a portrait to Babylona, or Babylona is upset. That is why I worry about staying. And if we do too many of these side quests, I don't know. The time is pretty tight. That's why I'm very willing to stay up all night and take another point of exhaustion or whatever to teach them what I know, and then I'll sleep on the way to hither.
Ebby, what's your thought and opinion?
Abby was just looking around mostly on the stuff and just like says, okay.
The thing that the situation that you have in front of you is that the battle is won. they've won. The Bullywogs have essentially like taken back their land and have won the battle. There's just some loose ends tied up in this that they're concerned about and want to try to take care of. But it wouldn't be a thing of like, you know, like they said, there's a chance that the shaman may come back, may try to do something, but they've won this battle and they're pretty fortified. But like you said, you haven't gone to talk to them yet at the court. You don't know their whole situation just yet. So there are opportunities for you to gain more information, learn their situation if you wanted to clear your conscience a little bit.
So why don't we go talk to them and then make a decision? But that's where I stand so far.
Yep.
Right. And they were talking about us in that conversation. Was that tonight they were meeting or in the morning they're meeting?
They offered you stay in the Soggy Kingdom in the castle if you wanted to. But they also said we can also be like, yes, we have the kingdom back. You're welcome to stay there, but we can reconvene in the morning. So it wasn't a either or. I think it was they were like offering you a place to stay there if you wanted to, and then we'll talk in the morning. But completely up to you.
Definitely talk in the morning. I think we should talk in the morning before we leave. Just kind of do what we can. Sure. So if we get to the balloon, I'm okay with taking a long rest then.
All right.
Nothing else specific. If anyone else had something that
I was just gonna lean towards Moss and just be like, the battle is won, but our job is to win the war. We have to do this.
I disagree, but I understand.
And just a small head pat.
There's just a little head pat.
Small head pat as I
You're
walk
like
away.
you're like the first like creature that's taller than her, so she's like, oh, thanks. Not used to this.
So if we can take a long rest, I'll take a long rest.
Yeah.
Right. So as you all start to climb up the stairs of this Soggy Court shop, once belonging to some very shisty darklings that Quincy had since eradicated from previous sessions, you kind of go up to that spiral staircase, up to the basket. It's fairly large. It can fit most of you sleeping down. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, trying to sleep in like a square formation basket. But there's like a bit of a platform surrounding it as well. So you could sleep in the basket, you could sleep outside of the basket, you could even sleep inside of the shop if you wanted to. Completely up to you.
I want to sleep inside the shop because I traded something that I want back.
I wanted to go to the shop too.
I'm following the party at this point.
I'm gonna go upstairs because I think it was like 2 stories, and I want to look at the controls to see if very little knowledge that I got, if I can like figure out how to even fly this.
I'm looking for a
So
marble.
as you're all sort of like, so by this point, sun has fully set. That orange, nice sort of horizon is gleaming across the swamplands around you as the bright blue and black sky is starting to overset over the lands. 3 of you kind of drop your packs off, drop your weapons off, some off on your sides that you need, but more or less just taking off the brunt of all the equipment. You're like, man, this has been a lot. And as 3 of you kind of like, Quincy just says, I'm getting my shit back, and just goes back downstairs, followed by Evie and Arcturion. And with Lucy, kind of just taking point, just kind of taking in the orange glow of the horizon as it's slowly just becoming thinner and thinner amongst the swamplands. Moss, you kind of take a moment to take in the control panel from the storm weather balloon. And looking around on the metallic dials, this very much is a custom job. It is not as naturalistic or simplistic as the normal swamp balloon was that you arrived in. Instead of, there are a couple levers and pulleys, but not like bits of wood attached to string. There are like metallic levers, like rotating dials. There are buttons. There are graphs, but like lights beeping up and down. This looks like this was very expertly made by someone who knew what they were doing.
Quincy, I think you might have advantage learning this. There's metal up here.
If I hear her, I'll kind of shut up a little bit. That's why I want to talk to that Ufunk one. They said that he was in charge of making this stuff. We might be able to get like specifics. Don't touch anything.
Do I see a shiny button?
Roll perception. You see several shiny buttons.
I don't.
Especially not a red one.
I see really wide like kittens.
Is there a red one?
Of course, there's a red one. Are you kidding me? On the lever, you see this slider of sorts, an indented slider with just like a metallic bar with two rods going inside, and like this slider that looks like it goes from down all the way up, and there is a giant red button on the side. The lever is currently in the lower position at the very end of the slider. There's various like runes and various indicators of a graph on either side.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm doing a
Duel of
roll.
the Fates starts playing.
Oh, that's not good. I reached for the lever. Oh no.
Do it, coward. Coward.
No.
Do it. Do it.
You won't do it.
Press
You won't do it. You
I
won't do it.
dare you.
Well, I first want to like push the lever. Does that do anything?
So you push it up a little bit.
I'm batting at it, and then I hit the button.
Of course, you're batting at it. So you bat up the lever a little bit. Dum, 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 dum. You hear this little sound going more high pitched as you push it up. Let's say you push it up like 3 prongs up. Dum, 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 dum.
We hear that, right? We hear that storm.
You hear a little bit of a hum of the storm.
Or thunder kind of rumbling. Yeah.
A little bit. It's like a tiny little bit of rumble. The sort of imagine, Moss, as you're looking up, the clouds that have just been like calmly rolling like this. You know, sort of interspersively mixing with each other. A couple of...
Does my fur start standing on end?
A little bit of static electricity as the tops of your fur kind of rise up a little bit. The more that you pull it up, you see your fur kind of going...
Am I seeing that we're like moving at all, or is it just purely the
moving.
motion? Okay,
You're seeing the clouds
Hmm.
moving a bit faster, and the rumblings getting a little bit more frequent.
Looks like I learned something about this ship. Okay, so I'm not that dumb. So I'm just gonna like put it back down, and be like, okay, so that controls the clouds.
So you put the lever back down. Dun, 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 dun. It just slowly goes back to a floating position.
Okay. I put it up once to the 1 dot, and then I'm gonna sleep under it because that's some like nice music to listen to. You know, just a little bit of thunder, a little bit. You just like kind of look it up, see like a little bit of light. There's like, yeah, that's so nice. Yeah, so I sleep up there by the control panel.
All right. So as this is happening, the 3 of you down below the shop, what would you like to do? Quincy, you want to look for the thing that you had traded earlier?
Yeah, I don't know. You have to correct me if I was wrong. I gave up a year of memory. Is that still here?
No.
Okay. Then if I can't find that, and I'm sure I would recognize what that vessel that was in. If I don't see that, I'm gonna go ahead and just grab food, ingredients, things like that, so I can have that on hand, and just any type of food that looks like bread, flour, spices, canned meat, canned vegetables, anything like that. I'm gonna put it all in waffle, and just have things ready. That way, in future short rests and long rests, I can cook food.
Okay, so I'll have you roll me an investigation check to see what kinds of food you find. Shane, I did get back on the glaive thing, is a martial class weapon. So as you're like holding the glaive with your feathered wings and your feathered hands, it's just really sort of unbalanced and heavy for your wings to kind of like grasp. Like, I think I could make this work, and you're just like trying to get the hang of it. And it's kind of just weaving all about. But was there anything in the shop that you wanted to look for?
Yes, there's actually a few things. So the first thing Abby's doing is beelining to look for the marble that stole Jennings' eye color as best as he can.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm thinking that's an investigation.
That's investigation. Artra.
I am with actually Quincy looking for food and everything, supplies.
Okay, so roll investigation as well.
I rolled a 15.
15.
12 and a 2 plus 5, 17. Or, no, 19.
19. Okay.
Nat 20, baby.
I was gonna say, is that the Nat 20 dance? Is that the Nat 20 dance? Yeah.
all the good foods, all of them. Cakes and meat.
Cake! I could go for some cake. Oh, cake sounds really
You know
good.
what? I could get some cake.
Cake sounds so good right now.
Quincy and Artrion, roll me a d20 3 times and tell me the number.
Oh, shit. Move him out of there.
25 and 11.
Okay.
3, 16, and 4.
3, 16, and 4. Okay, Quincy. So as you're going through the storehouse of this shop, it's kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of different things. It's kind of like almost a traveling roadshow antique kind of style. You're seeing like sections of food stores, sections of like tiny little weaponry here and there, but nothing too chaotic. Like most of the weapons that you've seen the knights kind of handle seem to maybe come from more of like a blacksmith that was in the kingdom of sorts. But there's just kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of stuff in here. But with your rolls, with 20, you find a fine bottle of, let me see here, fine bottle of wine.
Ooh.
Looks very eclectic. Like the label is a little bit off. You can't really read where it's come from. But as you kind of like take the cork off and give it like a big whiff, like it's very great bouquet of red wine, probably like a Merlot or something like that. The bottle looks really aged as well. Like it looks like it's a very old bottle of wine. So that's good there. You also find my table. You find a really good hunk of cheese. Looks more like it's like brie. Big wheel of it.
Nice.
And then you also find some aged meat.
Wonderful. Got a whole charcuterie board, basically.
Pretty much. And then for my boy Artrion here. Let me see. So you got see 3, 16, and 4. Gold for talent. Let's see. So looking for food specifically, right?
Yeah.
You find a good loaf of bread. 1/3 kind of missing, but still fairly intact. You also find a keg of ale.
Nice.
Let's go.
Perfect.
Kind of in an unmarked barrel, and 2 flagons. So 2 big giant steins. That the steins look a bit rusted in some parts, like the top kind of like chipped in a bit, but still intact. And the last part. You don't find food, but you find kind of scrumped down and kind of thrown under a shelving unit a smock, a butcher's smock.
Oh.
Ooh. If I see that, is there anything special about that smock?
At the moment, just looks like a smock.
Okay.
All right, Lucian, this is too small for me. Do you want this?
It's a skirt on you.
I mean, I've heard stories about certain items, as mundane as they are, could even be quite interesting. I mean, even if you used it as a bib, that could be quite interesting. It could help.
Okay, I'll keep it there.
Yeah, you should. I had this story one time of a butcher who had a very special one that made his weapons do a little bit more oomph. I don't know if it's the same thing. Not sure, but I've
I'm
heard
like
stories.
sniffing it for like magic. I'm just like checking for sparkles or something.
You want to make an Arcana check?
Do I want to? Sure.
Do it.
I'll do it
Oh,
as well as he's...
Solid 2. Let's go.
Okay,
It
see,
is an apron.
you are also misleading with your like celebratory sounds. I'm like, yay, and you're like 2.
Also misleading. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Quincy?
Oh, that was a 14.
14. So, yeah, you pick up the smock, and it's kind of hard to tell if there's any magical properties on it at first. Like, you kind of picking it up, and it's just like a typical sort of black leather smock. It's got a lot of cuts all over it. It looks like it's been, fairly used for quite a long time. And it's got a fairly cool design on it. Like, it doesn't look like just one piece of dark leather. Like, there's different sort of pockets sort of sewn into it. There's sort of a pocket that's a bit angular at the front of it that has these 3 kind of silvery claw-like appendages into it that look like maybe buttons that close it. There's another sort of belt loop around here that kind of cinches it in with like 3 little silver spikes at the front of it. And then at the bottom half, past the waistline, there's kind of like this sort of angular pocket that kind of angles down. And there's a kind of Black Panther's costume. Those little like silvery claws that kind of adorn the outfit. It's kind of like that, but woven into the design of this. There's a few little like silverly claw-like appendages that kind of taper off in different designs and pockets. But Archon, you kind of pick it up and you're like, ugh. It's just hey, Quincy, you want this? Toss it over. And Quincy, you grab it, hits you kind of in the face. Oh. You kind of get it off your face. And Archon, when you see Quincy take the smock off the face after you threw at him, a swath of blood is all over his face.
You got a little schmutz. Like,
I think so. No, it's okay. You're good. It's good.
here, let me get that for you. One paw is just.
Oh,
Giant streak of like of blood is just gone, but like there's still a bunch like on the sides.
thanks. But I don't sense any arcane from it. Or anything unusual.
As you kind of take the butcher's smock off of you and the blood kind of dripping down the sides of your face, it looked dry when he threw it at you. And suddenly there's blood on your face. And then you're kind of putting it up and you can see blood is just dripping off the sides and off the outlines of the pockets. And just like, it's just been freshly wet. It's drips of blood are just flowing down the sides of it.
I'll tip it upside down, see if anything like falls out of the pockets.
Nothing falls out of the pockets, but you turn it over and the blood just starts to reverse and just drip down from the sides. And
does it look like it's just been on this smock? It's not coming from like the pockets or anything?
So here's the thing. When Archeron picked up the smock, it was just in a corner There's no blood circling around it. It looked dry. Picked it up, threw it at you, and blood just started to pour out of it in a very damp, subtle way, indicating to you something weird about this thing.
Well, that's intimidating. We'll keep on. We'll keep this for future. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Archeon.
Like licking my palm, just like.
Yeah. Does the blood have like any specific thing? Does it smell like any type of creature, race, or?
Tastes like iron.
Okay. Well, I'll take it upstairs to the balloon.
Just wringing it out like.
Ringing it.
Oh, good. It's like a.
And then,
smoothie.
so Abby, you were looking for the marble eye for Lucy.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was looking for. Yeah.
So make perception or investigation. And you did it already. You got.
I did, but I can't remember.
If it was bad, just forget.
I think it was like a 16 or something. I think it was high.
I'm thinking it's somewhere around there, 14 or 16.
Yeah. So you're looking around the storeroom. Again, you see like displays of cookingware, displays of food. You see Quincy and Archeon playing around the smock and him like wiping Quincy's face with blood as he kind of walk past in a different room. Opening drawers, looking on different tables. Can't seem to find that marble eye in here.
Okay. Abby's gonna roll an Arcana check, because he remembers that they used magic on some items in there, and Abby's feeling like he needs to update a few of his personnel's to be effectiveness type stuff. So I'm going to roll an Arcana check to sense to see if there's anything that he can point out that could help him.
Okay.
16.
16. Okay.
Especially if the glaive not working.
Yeah, so roll me a D100.
Ooh.
That's the one with like the 50, 90 and stuff, right?
Yes.
90.
Uh-oh.
90. Okay. Okay, so walking around into the back, you're going through drawers, you're going through different cupboards. You're seeing a lot of things that don't really pop off to you very often. But you kind of look around and unfortunately there's not a lot of arcane items in here that would be very beneficial to you. A lot of things in here are more for like the local wildlife of like the swamp life and everything. But you do notice several jars sort of underneath, and more jars, I know. But sort of you notice an area of like a little bit of a glow underneath just some old shirts and trousers and things that look like they were going to be used to be sold for the bullywog at some point. You can notice like a little bit of a glow peering out from the darkness now that it's nighttime. And you're kind of like, oh, what the fuck's this? And you kind of pull over some shirts and some trousers, and you see these jars of like these adhesive fluid that has like a dull glow to it, kind of like imagine like molten lava that's like hardened in this sort of like thick viscous goo, and there's like a little bit of a bright orange light kind of shining through the dark rock. But that's about it. There's about 2 or 3 of them.
Okay. So I'm already at them. Did you say I was investigating them already? Because if not, I will.
Yeah, this goes into your check too if you wanted to try to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
This roll an intelligence check.
18.
18. Okay, so you look at this, and it's something that you've seen before. This is a weapon used on the plane of wind that Aarakocras used to gather and drop on enemies from afar. It's known to you as Alchemist Fire. So
That's cool.
it is a sticky adhesive fluid that ignites when exposed to air. As an action, you can throw this flask up to 20 feet, shattering it on impact. You make a ranged attack against a creature or object, treating the Alchemist Fire as an improvised weapon. And on a hit, the target takes 1d4 fire damage at the start of each of its turns.
Oh.
The creature can try to end this damage by using an action to make a DC 10 dexterity check to extinguish the flames. So essentially, you can throw these sticky, fiery adhesive to people. And if they can't seem to take it off, it'll just ding damage on them per turn. And you could stack these. So you could take 3 and just throw them all at once. And it would be like D4, D4, D4 at the start of their turns.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Abby, so Abby, looks around just to see if there's anything. Are there other jars like, safe to pick up?
Yeah, they're encased in a very tough glass.
Okay.
Like very thick, like pane glass, but they should be fine to pick up.
Okay, so Abby is just like, colors. And then just like picks them up and just carries them around and does one last spot check to look, but I guess doesn't see anything else that's interesting.
Yeah, nothing really popped off to you for your druidics or sensibilities.
Abby gets, even though Abby has found these things, he gets really bummed out that he couldn't find the marble to fix Lucifer's eye. So then he just goes back into the room where the others are fighting over blood and just looks at them.
As you start to step out of the shop, as you kind of walk past Quincy and Archeon, make me a perception check.
Oh, that's better.
Thank God it fell out.
17.
21.
Raw is Jericho. Okay.
Give me a sec. I'm using inspiration for this because I'm just hopeful. Why is everything falling out? Stop falling out.
Say it all the time.
18.
18?
18. Sorry, this is just for Abby, Quincy, and Aiden. So as you kind of go out of the shop, and you're kind of like a little forlorn, you're like, oh, I couldn't give him his eye back. You pass by them, like looking at the smock and trying to figure out where his blood's coming from. Quincy's just like turning it over upside down, as Archeon's just licking his hand of blood. You step outside, and the stars and the moon have like fully come out now, with the moonlight really sheening across the swamp water that's sort of surrounding the docks where the shop is upheld. You're kind of a little forlorn. You're like, I really wanted to give him that. And you just look at the corner of your eye in the swamp water where a big patch of dust is still floating on top. There is a single circular marble-like thing bobbing in the water that the moonlight is sort of reflecting and catching.
So Abby gets really like hopeful. And his eyes are locked on this, and he goes over. Do I have to go outside to go do this, or am I just like able just to walk or something?
So you kind of like step out of the shop just to kind of get some air and just be like, oh, that sucks. And you just notice like this sort of twinkling at the corner of your eye where the moon was like reflecting off, and you looked over and you see this little marble just like bobbing up and like patches of like ash just floating on top of the water still.
Okay, so Abby puts the jars down, and then he's gonna flutter his way over to go and scoop up this shining object.
So you go over with your talon, kind of tink.
Is there anything happen when I grab it, or is just like
It's a magical moment experience.
You just see like the imagery of the silhouette of your peacock feathers lit up between a night of stars and moonlight, reflecting off of the swamp water as your wings are kind of fully expanded, and one leg is up and one talon of your leg is just drooping down, picking up the marble from the surface of the lit swamp water.
So Ebby grabs it onto it lightly, and then just like is so hopeful in his mind, and he brings his talon up towards him closer as he goes back towards land or on the dock that he was on before, and places it into his hand and looks at it and and then tries to remember if this is what he was looking for. Do I have to do a history check or anything like?
No, you kind of like reach down with your leg goes up, your fairly large feathered hand reaches up for the circular object. And you just kind of rolled around. It's just like Lucy's eye just.
Yeah. So it's like and so he just gets really happy and then just like holds on to it really tight, and then he's like, okay, so he puts it into one of his like little secured pockets, and then picks up the jars and then goes in and just to see what the others are doing, but he's just keeping quiet at the moment for it, but because he's just having an internal party in his head.
Nice.
Wonderful. He's just really quiet because he's overwhelmed by the death around him, but this is something that really makes him really happy.
And for the rest of you, is there anything else you want to do inside the shop, or are you coming back up to rest for the night?
As I'm walking up to rest, I want to put it on. I want to put the smock on. I want to see if it does something. If I put it on, does it do anything? Because I'm like, this thing has a secret, and I want to know what it's about. So I'm going to put it on.
So as you put it on, the smock is kind of made for a larger person. So I think you're not.
I'm 5'2".
You're 5'2", so you're a bit on the smaller side.
Yeah.
Archeron, when he put it on, it was like a bit too small for him, but not because he's like insanely too tall. He's just like a very large person. It didn't fit him correctly. But on you, like the bottom kind of drapes down the floor. And you're kind of like, and this thing is just like ever so slightly bleeding out everywhere. Like you put it on and like drips of blood are falling down the sides, and you're like, it's kind of gross, but you're like, there's got to be something to this. And like you put it on, it's like this cold, damp feeling, like you put on like a cold towel just on your body. You're like, and you just like tie it up. You can feel like the damp blood slurping against the leather straps. It's like,
yep. No, stop it.
ASMR. So put it on, wrap it around your back, and the front flap is drooping down on the ground. And sorry, are you upstairs trying this on or downstairs?
As I was walking up, but I can do it while I'm downstairs.
All right. So let's say you're walking up the stairs as you're putting on the smock, and the bottom is kind of trailing off to the side, so the trail of blood is like coming
bleeding
up the stairs behind you. And you're like, ugh. And as you like fully tie it, the bottom resizes to fit your form.
So you do have secrets. Interesting.
But as you're trying to figure out what this thing does, what would you like to do to test it?
I'm very curious. I'm going to take my dagger out, wrap my hand around it, and kind of just get myself a little bit of a wound to see if it does anything different.
So you take out your dagger and you're going to cut yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would say make an attack roll, but pretty sure you just want to hurt yourself. What is the damage die for your dagger?
It would be a D4 plus a D4 plus just a D4. So roll a D4.
So
it's 4 damage.
Jesus. So You take out a dagger, and the blood's just kind of like, you just hear the pittering of liquid going, falling down from the apron. You take your dagger. Your first instinct's like, whatever.
I just want to.
You try to do it gently. Like, you're like, I don't want to like hurt myself. And you just kind of like, oh, fuck. And you just like deeply cut yourself. Even just like a little sliver that you try to do, it greatly cuts you. Like, ah, shit. And you kind of look down at the blade, and the sliver of blood that you normally would have cut, the blood just seems to be like drenching out its own blood from some unknown source.
Like my wound or the
from the blade. Like for some reason, like it's cut you deeper, and blood is kind of pouring from the blade a bit more unexpectedly.
Sure.
And blood is kind of like exuding out from your wound a little bit more. Like you were just doing this, and you cut the blade and went, fuck!
Yeah.
Like, you did not mean to do that. Almost like the blade itself became 12 times more sharper as you made that cut. As you wear this perpetually bleeding black leather apron, you gain the following benefits. Once per turn, when you roll damage for a melee weapon attack with a weapon, you can re-roll the weapon's damage die. If you do, you must take the second result.
Sure.
Also, your weapon's attacks that deal slashing damage score a critical hit on a 19 or a 20.
Oh. Okay.
Very cool.
Cool. Okay.
Slashing damage only.
Slashing 19 or 20.
Is there a name for this specific garment?
The Butcher's Bib.
And from my story, that's kind of maybe one that I was thinking of. Is this? I'm kind of assuming this is the Butcher's Bib. Like, oh, that's super. So this one's yours. This is yours. Okay, I'm gonna take it off. I'm like, okay, done.
You whip it off, and like bits of blood just fall out to the sides of the stairs and kind of flap out everywhere like a damp towel.
Yep, I'll take it up, and I'll be like, yeah, and I'll open up like a side pocket in waffles and stuff them in waffles in like a side pocket. Yeah, it just kind of like oozes down my leg. I'm like, okay, and I'll go up.
Can't stand the sight of blood, my friend.
You or me?
You.
Oh, I mean, does this look bad to you? Sure.
It looks really bad. It looks really bad.
I have 3 slashes across my eye, across my face. Like, I'm just like,
Oh. Yeah. I'm missing fingers.
Yeah.
So I'll go upstairs and try to take care of this wound.
You guys
what, you don't lick it? You don't lick it?
As you roll upstairs, kind of getting ready to settle in for the night, making your beds, finding places to rest, was there anything you'd like to talk to each other about, converse each other about before you headed in for the night?
I think Ark will chime up. So, what did they take from you?
Me? Oh.
Just like as I'm laying, I'm not facing anybody, I'm not talking to anybody in specific.
Oh.
I'm just
kind of like those like moments where you like stare.
Moments.
Yeah. You're staring up at the scene.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, you sleeping?
No.
Hey.
No, not anymore. What? They took a desire from me, but I got it back, and I kind of like am like palming the coin and just kind of feeling it. What'd you lose?
Wait, you got back what they stole you?
Yeah, I guess so.
How?
I don't know. We were looking around in Bevlona's place, and it just came. I'm not sure how. I wasn't looking for it, I can tell you that. Wasn't intending to find it. But as I was searching, an object came to my hand that I found, and the memory came back. And it's a weird feeling. It's like one of those things when it's like remembering something that you forgot and knowing that you forgot it, and then suddenly remembering it is such a weird coming to. I don't know how I forgot it. I don't know why I forgot it, but what I remembered, and essentially what I forgot, was what it was like to be selfless. So if I seemed, and I kind of like lean over, so I'm kind of like looking at Ebby. If Ebby's kind of like palming his thing and looking at the stars too, it's like, if I seemed a bit selfish, I apologize.
No need. You've shown no such emotions while I've been here, from what I can see.
Thank you, Archeon.
Was that also to Ebby? Like, was Ebby?
Yeah, it's just like a general, like, kind of like announcement. It can be, if you want to share, you can share, absolutely.
And Quincy, was you saying that
I
towards?
looked at Ebby, and I looked at towards Ebby. If he was paying attention to me or not, I don't know, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so Ebby was paying attention to you, and he just smiles and then just looks down. It's like, it's okay. I still like you, even then.
But I swear, Ebby, if you heal another snake while I'm in its stomach,
But it was hurting.
I was dying.
Well, you got fixed after.
I'm just like,
But
like
did
not
you
looking
die?
Jenny or Lucy kind of connects eyes with you, Archeon. You're like, really? He's like,
Noted.
What about you, Archeon? Do you remember what you lost?
I do. My father was once a great and noble leader, though fierce and merciless in combat. But as many moons passed, I've watched my father's mane grow gray, and his recent battles for the throne were too close for comfort. I worried he would pass before I was ready to take the throne. I thought for days and weeks on how I could help my father. Until one day of my returning travels from ripping the head off a draconic leader. Call back. I overheard music, sounds, and laughter of cheering come from within the forest. As I trekked through the woods, I found this lively and enchanted carnival, stocked full of travelers and folks of all kind. In the midst of the chaos, I found an old gypsy-like tent, and there inside was a fortune teller, what I thought was a fortune teller. Where is my... There we go. She enticed me by saying she could see a Leonin chief in my future, laying dead on the battleground, his blood staining the western sands. So I took a seat across from her and asked her what can be done to change this unbearable future. She offered me a deal, an enchanting deal. She asked me what I desired the most, and I shakingly replied, I want my father to return to his former glory, brave, strong, and fierce as ever. And she snickered and said, that can be arranged, but all I ask is an item in return. I had nothing on me from my battles besides my father's lion totem pendant. As I offered it up anyways and shook her hand, with a wisp of sparks, the deal had been done. Return home, she said. But when I returned to my tribe, my village was burning, and a few of my people had been slaughtered. I went to see my father and noticed he looked 20 years younger, bolder, stronger, and blood-hungry. I was expecting open arms, but he had no memory of me, as if his memory had been wiped clean of his kin. I thought of no other way to end his tyrant leadership than to challenge him for the throne. But I was indeed not worthy. Never had I faced such a warrior. cast my body to the ground and banish me from the tribe. And now I seek out this witch who made this nightmare all too real, in hopes to bring my father back.
And let's get that done as soon as we can then, yeah.
It's like the
Oh,
awkward
another-
silence afterwards, and I'm just like laying.
Yeah.
And I just like roll.
And then
over.
Quincy. you
Yeah,
say-
it's kind of like there's like a long pause, and then like you can kind of hear us like rustling around in our sleeping bags. It's like that awkward silence that's happening.
through the awkward silence, Lucy. Through the awkward silence, there's like a few seconds of just like, reverence for that being shared. Lucy just pipes up, "Oh, another person with daddy issues. Lovely."
Do you have to have fathers to have daddy issues?
I have lots of father issues.
I don't say daddy issues, like, because I have no idea the terminology. I'm just like,
I guess I have lots of father issues, as you can see.
And with that, Quincy's just kind of going to take those thoughts and just maybe turn over. He looks at Moss because like Moss doesn't often share herself much, and kind of like looks almost invitingly at Moss to share something. But if Moss doesn't, Quincy's just going to go just turn back over and sleep.
She's passed out. Like she's been asleep this entire time. Y'all playing like hot potato with this little bib thing, and Abby outside. She, as soon as she had the ambiance of the thunder music, she was just like out.
All right, I'll go to sleep.
okay. Is this a long rest?
It's indeed a long rest.
Wonderful.
But
Ah,
during this long rest,
No, stop it.
Ebby.
Yeah.
As you and your party members start to fall asleep, dream, get rested, you hear something. It's hard to make out what it is at first. You're having visions of your home, of your family, the place you left to reclaim what was taken, to fill that empty hole in your heart, which is the connecting tissue of what brought you all to this land in the first place. And although Arcturion has the benefit of understanding what was lost to him as he came across this carnival when he was much older, you, and unfortunately the rest of your friends, don't have the same luxury. And as you're dreaming of the plane of winds and the rest of your feathered family drifting through clouds and floating islands, you hear a voice struggling to reach you. It's really muffled and extremely hard to understand, almost like finding a radio station as you're tweaking through the different knobs, trying to hear that music clear. But all you kind of remember from this dream is just you floating over the brightest blue and green water you've ever seen, floating islands with sort of pointed concave endings to them with tufts of green and tropic vegetation everywhere, various bird-like races all around you. And then you wake. Sunlight hitting your eyes as your feathers kind of droop down from your tail, sort of blocking, almost like a makeshift night mask, as like the plume from your feathers kind of drip past your head, and peaks of the sunlight kind of interrupt past the feathers. Starts to wake you up a bit. Feathers bloom up. You're the first one to wake amongst your people. And you kind of get up, and Moss is skittering in the sleep. Arcturion dead like a cinder block. Has not moved. Just
Yeah.
lying perfectly still. Lucy kind of propped up on a corner. Quincy kind of in this sort of makeshift ball sort of sleeping arrangement with their packs and a little bit of leaked blood pooling around their bag where they stuffed the bib inside his bird. And it just looks kind of creepy because look down and you see his griffin mechanic bird like nuzzled beside him, but like Furby, like eyes wide with the like, shut, but there's just like blood pouring down from where he put the bib in his mouth.
Oh my god.
But as you overlook the horizon and start to see the familiar pastel cotton-like colors of this beautiful sunrise that's propping up as the wisps of night are kind of still in the upper atmosphere of the Feywild. And you kind of look around you to the next day of the chaos that had taken hold of the Soggy Court. And you notice that the bodies that had been laying around you are no longer there. You see makeshift graves adorned by vines and vegetation and grass and flowers, almost as if the land itself had welcomely accepted them back into the earth from whence they first came, signifying to you and bringing up memories of your druidic training that although chaos is a very natural form of life, that it's just a part of a bigger cycle. And there's more to this world than just the bad parts. Kind of giving you this new renowned faith in what you're doing. One by one, the sunlight kind of travels across the basket and starts to hit the rest of your party members. You see them kind of wiggling awake. But was there anything you wanted to say in response to that?
Abby just he takes a few steps out, and then he just looks down at each thing, and as exactly as you said, but his shoulders relax a little bit more. His little fireflies see more brightly, and the flower on his wrist looks like it's in full bloom. And so he's calm at this point. His mind still running back on the dream he had and grasping at whatever straw he can to hold on to it in his mind and to remember much more that he could, but it's challenging. But he just does one of his little gentle chirps at seeing that the life is growing over the things that caused him so much stress yesterday. Before he drops his head with a slight smile and turns back in to see the others.
All right. As you turn over, the rest of you sort of wake as the sunlight starts to hit your eyes. It is a new day, fully rested. Long rest certainly made its mark. And as the rest of you kind of getting up, stretching, looking over the horizon, looking over to the Bullywog Kingdom, the castle that has been taken back by its people. You start to make your way down the steps just to kind of survey the platform as you stretch. You see Clabberclaw sleeping on the steps, feet up. Just sprawled like starfish style. And the only reason they didn't fall down all the stairs is because the horns on their head caught on a piece of wood and they're just like blocked themselves.
I'm gonna go up and I'm just gonna slightly remove the horn from where it's wedged and let go.
Oh no!
You do that, there's like a piece of wood that kind of like caught off from like a plank that the horn kind of caught on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, goodness gracious me. I
Good
have
morning.
to be careful, but
Did that knock his horns into place to fix his voice?
Yeah, like as he's hitting steps, his voice is changing because the
changing.
antlers are turning.
I roll for it.
Okay.
Oh.
No.
What is
way.
it? What is it? Glare, I can't see it.
The 9.
No.
9.
He sounds more formal now.
Oh.
So hits his head a few times. Oh! Oh my god! Oh! Ah! Ah! Oh! Ah! Oh! 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 What the heck just happened?
I tackle him.
I gotta stop sleeping on the stairs so much.
All right. Oh, Clapper Claw, your voice got back.
What?
Oh.
What was that? Oh no!
Yeah.
No.
Chips like fall out of the side of his skull. No, I didn't hear it there. What did you say?
Yeah, I was saying it's time for us to get to the court.
I scoop him up. Let's go.
Oh, I think I might have broken him.
No, you fixed him.
Oh, good.
I just give him like a little like finger tap on the head, just like as I'm like walking past.
Sorry I forgot your way.
No, baby. Little cutie
I
pie.
have a little bit of narcolepsy.
Sprinkled in with some concussions, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're heading to the royal court area. Where'd
Yeah.
they want us to
So there
go?
was like a little bit of a makeshift castle that was a part of the land that they had taken back. I had invited you to either stay there or convene in the morning to figure out what you want to do.
Convene in the morning. That's what we're headed for.
All right. So as you make your way through a much, like, it's weird. It's like the land has almost healed itself from the scorched marks, from the fires, everything. The smoke is fully dissipated at this point. You can see the sky now. The wisps of battle have kind of been long gone. Anything that was burnt or charcoal or ash has seemingly grown over with lush green grass, with vines, with trees that were broken and folded over are now like halfway growing back already. Like they're like 2 years of human time have just seemingly like healed itself, which is pretty astounding. And some of the lily pads and the vines kind of creaking out from the swamplands. Like as you're walking, you can see very slow motion, but like swamp vines like rigging out from the water and like grasping on and like splintering and like slowly growing as you're taking each step. And even as you're stepping into the fresh grassland, you can see little flowers like almost sprouting up and blooming with each step you take into the grass. Just tiny little like daisies, and, yellow flowers and pink flowers kind of adorning each step that you take in the mud. But as you reach kind of the castle walls, there's 2 sort of makeshift bullywug guards, recognize you, take the spears out as they lead you in to where what once used to be a gate is now just torn down rubble and stone. As you walk through sort of the main courtyard area, you can see there's a bit of a convening of Morgort, Bulf, as you had met, Bloth, I'm sorry. As you can just see them sort of huddling around and just like murmuring and talking amongst themselves through the lap, croaking, as they're discussing what they should do next. Your party approaches. What would you like to do?
Good morning. Did we miss anything?
Ah, friends, you've arrived. Did you find a good place to sleep last night?
Yes, we did. We took shelter in the Stormcloud balloon.
Oh, yes, the Stormcloud. Finally got to Stormcloud.
We have use for it for sure.
Did you figure out how to drive that thing? I certainly have never.
Oh, absolutely not. That's why we're still here. But
Beware of that big red button. All right.
oh, yes, I don't think any of us got anywhere near that big red button, right?
Press the big red
No,
button.
yeah, it's fine. So,
I don't know what you're talking about.
what? Oh, before I go on, meet some of the Denzians and the leaders that helped this revolution become successful. And
The real heroes, yes.
Morgort sort of address this sort of circle of not knights, but of various bullywog Denzians, almost like the bullywogs of the round table sort of thing.
Horsno Bluff, Duke of Bogbottom. This over here, Blutus, Duke of the Three Rocks. Over here, Grumple, Earl of Stinkwater. Mundlemud, the Green Baron.
And they're all just like nodding in various adornments and various types of frogs. You see some that are like poison dart frogs, some that are like bull frogs, some that are like generic tree frogs.
Over here, Knight of the Pickled Fly, Ribble. Moss Crown Knight, Slop. And whom we spoke of before, Afgunk.
Afgunk.
Flower Knight.
Yes, you, sir. I would like to speak with you.
Oh, yes, you want to talk? What would you like to talk about?
Yes, well, I heard you were quite adept at inventions of the arcane.
Yes, well, I try my best.
And you look over at Ufgunk, and he is a short, very wide, like bullfrog with like a maroon sort of dark red colorations, huge neck that just bobbles out when he talks. He's got sort of light blue pants, but they're short. Like he's just like a giant oval, basically, just like standing there. He's got he's got like these sort of bright blue pants and like a shirt that kind of like a one-piece suit almost, like overalls. He's got a staff and a wizard's hat that's just like off to the side.
I lean over to Moss. I'm just like, 3 gold shillings and I'll roll him down a hill.
We can play soccer with him.
I'll walk over to Ufgunk. And I was wondering if we could have an exchange of knowledge. My party and I are in need of information and instruction on how to control the weather balloons. I heard you're quite adept at those.
Well, don't let this fool you. I just found this in the rubble.
He just takes off the wizard's hats and throws the like little makeshift cane down.
But mechanical things, it's kind of a new thing for bullywogs, but I find the whole thing extremely fascinating.
Well, then let's see what we can learn. And I'll pull out Reggie, and Reggie will kind of just like and kind of crawl up my shoulders and I'll kind of perch there and be like, this is...
His tongue goes out and tries to snatch Reggie.
Okay.
17.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Reggie just comes off of your shoulder to his whole, like, his body is basically a giant mouth. And the whole metallic bird just goes into
I just
his
think
mouth.
of Kirby right now.
But he has no teeth. So he's just like gumming this bird out of like pure instinct. Goes up to you and goes,
Can you please let that go?
I am so sorry. It's a reflex. I can't.
It looked like a bug. I understood. It's fine. I should have. It's okay. It's fine.
What is this thing? It feels
Yeah,
like iron or something.
Okay, well, okay. I would love to very much teach you how to create very similar objects like this because this is what it can do. Reggie, fetch. And he just kind of blast in one direction. He also has 2 different modes. I'll kind of like snap my fingers and the ballista changes to the flamethrower, and then it'll blast it from fire, and then once again it'll switch to a third option, which is the artificer's the protection. And so like as he's holding it or it's near him, the protected one gives an aura of just like extra health, and just you feel a little stronger and safer when you're near him.
Do the other options cause him to like fling to the wall over here?
Yeah, it's just like it's just transforming, like it's this mechanical toy that's just changing its shape a tiny, like whoa! It's just like just start short, stubby body is just trying to like hold on to it as it's doing things. He's like, "It's amazing! Did you make this?"
I learned, and I can teach.
Fascinating.
If you can teach me how to best steer the weather balloons, I can
Yes,
teach you
yes,
how to
yes.
create these for your.
Well, the thing is, we don't have a lot of access to metal around here.
I heard. I was aware. But do you have access to wood, coal, moss, and some specific herbs that could possibly create maybe like an adhesive or a glue?
I mean, there are a few enchanted trees around, but you get really mad if you try to chop them down. Or
Oh,
use
for
them
sure.
into things. They have a lot of family members that
Yeah.
you share the land with, and you get kind of mad. Also, word did reach us from a friend of ours that there was a the place where the Herringgong calls home has been vacated.
That
Looks
entire
kinda rotten.
that entire tree is available to you. If you can petrify it, that'll be just as hard as any metal.
Hey, Arclight, is that what you saw before? And then through the back of the court, you hear multiple wheels scraping, like, and you see your old pal, Arclight, the druid in the moving house with a bunch of legs, come from like a side alleyway. And
Nice.
that sounds like roller skates, like as you see Arclight come from around the corner with like this big wooden stilt, and riding atop Bob the Snail, who has a plank underneath them of roller skates to make Bob go fast.
It's Bubba!
Bubba the Snail, that's right, sorry. As the snail just kind of skits around the corner.
Wow.
Hey, hello! You made it! Oh my god, you're here and alive! What
Did you
the
steal?
hell?
Did you steal Bubba from the herring guns? We came back to their place and it was completely
No, we left-
rotted.
We left Bubba with her.
Oh,
Bubba was chilling. I'm sorry, wrong voice. Bubba was chilling on the back of my house.
oh, that's right. That's right. I
kept
thought
it
we
safe for you.
gave it to the herring gun.
Jumps on Bob.
No, we didn't give Bubba the hair. God, no. That would have been horrible.
I know it would have been sad. Okay, yay! I'm glad that he's been kept safe. We've had some very sticky situations and needed a quick get out, and he's not quick. He's not quick.
He looks like he is
Sort of
now.
like
Oh yeah, that's
platform
true.
attached to his bottom, so the snail is just literally on top of like a ply of wood with a bunch of skate wheels underneath it. That Arclight is like using a pole to like sift through and like push him forward.
Oh,
And as
goodness.
she pulls Bubba like towards you. She mounts off, and the snail's elongated neck just comes towards you, Moss, and just big sludgy head roll into yours.
Aww.
Hi, you're so fast now, and I like palm his cheeks on his face. You're so fast now.
See, I don't know who these people are, so like immediately I'm like, escargot, and I go to like reach towards.
Giant snail.
Arclight comes off of the snail, and since Arctron has never seen Arclight before, you see Arclight has this sort of velvet bowler hat off to the side, these like little spectacle glasses, big frizzy red hair that's humidity and just out all over, this sort of multi-colored stitch not smock poncho with like a pink tutu bottom and like big shit kicker boots, and they have like wrapped hands, and they're like, this is a new friend I have not seen before. Hey, Arclight, nice to meet ya.
Arctreon.
And I just extend a finger,
Just like Arctreon.
Just shakes it really, really like loudly. And like, oh, nice to meet you. Yes. Yeah, heard one of the bullywogs came out and needed some aid, said there was some kind of revolution going on. It's very exciting. And I had a new plant that I wanted to test out, and it really helped turn the bit of the tide. And Bubba here did very, very well too. And you can see underneath the poncho, these 4 vine-like appendages just prop out, and then two of them kind of prop her up to put her back on Bubba's shell.
Cool.
Almost like Doc Ark vine arms.
Yeah.
They just come back into under her poncho.
Nice. Can I learn how to make that?
Oh, it's very experimental right now, my dear, but I'm sure that we will cross paths some more, and I'd love to give you a tour of my new greenhouse.
Yes.
We can make a stop.
Where
On
are
our
you
way.
going next?
Thither?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be getting that a lot.
Can we?
As Morgort comes behind you and just like kind of having this other conversation with all these people, like,
Oh,
You make a decision about what you'd like to do.
There's a greenhouse.
I would love to exchange information with Fôlkvangr,
Yes.
and with these many turrets and added defenses, will help you with your. It'll help you with whatever onslaughts you come across, and then we need to head to thither.
you see Morgort kind of looking down. Well,
But how are you? But if you need us for something very quickly,
It's
part of our party doesn't. We don't want to leave you wanting.
it's all right. There is more of us that survived than we had thought. With our new fellowship here, something did ring in our ears a little bit yesterday when you had mentioned maybe the old ways are not always the best ways, and maybe a democracy would be best. We miss our traditions, and we will find a way to get our crown back.
The wonderful thing about traditions is that anything can become a tradition as long as you're proud of it and you keep it up.
Quite true. Except we are having a bit of a discussion this morning about what to call our new round table of heroes. No one can really agree on a name for us, which is
What options have you had?
Knights of the Wart Table, the Green Rock Crew.
make a
Table that
persuasion
is
check,
round.
Artrion.
Make a persuasion
Oh.
Where's my persuasion? Ooh, +1. All right, let's rock it. Come on, give me a high score.
Warts of the round.
I got 9.
If anyone wants to
I'll
push
give
one of
him.
his names forward,
I'll give him
yeah.
advantage. I want to give him advantage. I'm
Okay.
like, wait. So what was the first one again?
Knights
Warts of the.
Wart table.
Total of 19. Knights of the Wart Table.
So Quincy, as he's like, Knights of the Wart table, da, 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 you're like, well, that one's not bad. And Morgort looks over to the various bullywogs, all various shades, shapes, sizes.
Knights of the War Table. There's a bit of a ring to it. Yeah, I really like that one. That's such a pretty cool name, I'm not gonna lie. Knights of the War Table it is then.
Wonderful.
Ooh.
I love it. All right, Fôlkvangr, you and I have some work to do. We have a busy morning and we need to be on our way post haste.
And then, like, as Morgort looks back at the council,
They're gonna free this land from the Hourglass Coven.
and they all look at each other. What? They had no idea that's what you were, like, planning to do. They're like, she was waiting for the conversation to happen. So as they all kind of realize, like what Archer was saying, we're not going for the battle, we're going for the war. They're like, oh my god, they're going for the Hourglass Coven.
Can any of you help us?
We are gonna have to be here for quite some time to rebuild what was lost.
Maybe in information. We're going to thither. Can you tell us a little bit about, can any of you tell us what we're expecting and what to look out for?
We had a few on the inside in the Bullywog Kingdom. Some that were very close to Gullop. Thither is a vast forest. One of the most beautiful in all the Feywilds. Some parts are darker than others, but its new leader, Skabatha, Nightshade. You thought Bavlorna was bad. She's the oldest member of the Hourglass Coven, better known as Granny Nightshade. She offers assistance to those who are haunted by regrets. Her deals often result in cruel twists. We knew someone who was a petitioner who asked to be reunited with a lost love, might be transformed into one of their lost loved ones' cherished items, such as a favorite bonnet or something weird like that. She assumes the guise of an old toy maker, part toy herself. She has a wind-up key behind her haunch shoulders that rotates quickly. When she's in a good mood, and slows down as her mood sours, and when she's furious, the key comes to a dead stop.
So the motion of the key doesn't
Control her.
insinuate Yes, her health or movement.
We've heard rumors that it coincides with the mood. Anything
Has-
after that? When
Her sister gave us some wonderful information, and we wonder if you can confirm this. That Skabatha forgets the first person she sees right when she wakes up. Is that factual?
Any of you ever meet Skabatha?
And looks over to the coven, or at the coven, the Knights of the Wart Table, Knights of the Round, Knights of the Round. And they all just look at each other like.
I looked down to Clabberclaw, and I asked, because I'm still holding him. I'm like, weren't you made by Granny Thistle?
Granny Nightshade?
Oh, that, yeah.
Yes.
So, can you determine
You know
if
if
that
that's
information
true?
is true?
Does she forget the first person she sees?
But remembers them as she's going to bed. Ow.
Yes, she forgets the person that she sees when she awakens. But only the first person. If you're the second, she'll remember. She'll know.
Okay.
She lives in a giant tree called Loom Lurch. She has workers.
What kind of workers?
Clabberclaw used to be one of these workers until Clabberclaw got away. They're a collection of the people she's taken from the material world. She has she likes to capture children.
Clabberclaw, how did you become conscious and free?
I was created by the souls of some of these children.
But what I'm asking is, if you're able to be free, we can also free the workers?
It's possible.
Added to the to-do list.
Add it to the to-do list.
No
Seems
matter
like
how
we
long they stayed here, they never seem to age.
Well, that's hopeful. All right. Well, anyone else have any information that could possibly benefit us as we go to thither?
That's all that we really know about Nightshade.
All right.
Dealings with Bavlorna than anybody.
Well, all the insight has been rather helpful. It really has. Fôlkvangr, you and I have some classes start now at the with the storm
Yes,
cloud. Let's go.
Knights of the work table. It has convened.
You in charge of this mess? I kind of walk over to him and kind of like put a hand on his shoulder and be like, "You're in charge here, right? Aren't you?"
I'm not officially in charge, but I like to think that maybe.
I'm pretty sure you are, because I mean, did you see the way they all looked at you?
With all these mechanical currents.
Yeah. I mean, it's the inventors and all of us. We got to do this. Absolutely. We got to walk and talk on the way back.
I think at this point, Moss is kind of lost in thought, looking out the window at the healed area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts that come to mind particularly, or?
She's very confused about this world because the torturous, I guess not torturous, but the wrongdoing Harengon, when we, and I'm questioning it now, supposedly brought justice to Longscarf, their home rotted. And now there's war and the land is healing. She's so confused because she believes or believed that they had done something right by ridding this world of a trickster who truly was evil. And she hesitates or questions her own morality, seeing how this world interacts with itself and what happens in it.
Yeah, and as you have those instincts and those thoughts, you do remember, I think it might have even been Arclight that told you about the concept of how the Feywild itself is a living organism, and how certain emotions react to it super strongly. The concept of war, or not even war necessarily, but two factions or two beings fighting over land sometimes can be like guarding territory, can be an animalistic intention or instinct, like one tribe trying to come over and take over the other. Sometimes those things are done with malicious intent. Sometimes those things are done with puppetry in mind, like an Emperor Palpatine sort of situation. And sometimes there's just a land and there's like lions and cheetahs and only one can have it. With the Harengon, there was an act of great betrayal when the Harengon died.
It's almost like no one was rather happy with the situation, but with the Bullywog situation, there's a lot of joy or peace and victory with their situation. So it's like reacting to their emotions, like the majority of emotion, rather than the Harengon. The majority of the emotion was a very negative one.
The Harengon lost their leader in an act when the Harengon said, with Adgon being like, I surrender, I give up. And Lucy just foregoing that and not giving him his peace. The Harengon all, as you're remembering all these flashes, having these thoughts, the collective Harengon losing their leader, losing their home to the leader, all kind of reacting in one fell swoop to that despair, to that sadness. And like Quincy just mentioned, this kind of becoming more of a celebration of victory, of joy, and the land starting to heal itself. You're realizing that nothing is all black and white as maybe you had once thought of.
But the fact that it also had the disdain between Abby and Lucifer also have a deeper effect to it?
It could have, yeah. You're all just sort of getting used to how the Feywild acts and reacts to things. You've also haven't visited the stump since that.
Random adventure going.
True.
But
I'm going left. Bye.
in the interim, as you're looking over, trying to contemplate these deep thoughts, Quincy, you go over to the storm balloon, and you and this bullywog artificer just start trading secrets abound. You go back and forth and trying to teach him like how you made your griffin turret, what kind of like special Quincy sauce and spices and arcane ingredients you learned to make it sentient, how do you give it certain modes of intention and how to make it more AI based than just like spell, incantation, go, almost making like a self-propelling arcane body rather than just like incantation equals spell, go. You somehow fused a few spells into one that is mixed in with a sentience so that the bot knows how to do its own thing with just simple voice commands. And even though they don't have an abundance of metal around here, there's a lot of Feywild magic that could be used like in wooden senses, other ways to like replace metal with a different substance. And so I'm gonna have you roll just an intelligence check, just for the exchange of info back and forth, see how much you retained.
Sounds good. I'm gonna use my inspiration for this for sure. 16 plus 2 plus intelligence. That's a plus 3, so 21.
Nice. You rolled a nat 20 on his. So
Nice.
perfectly exchanging various instructions. Nothing's lost or misunderstood. Is kind of like his sort of slurring speech. It takes a couple minutes for you to like, wait, go back a minute. You meant to do this, right? Not that. Oh yeah, sorry. No, I totally meant that. And he tells you about the equivalents of like the levers, the dials, and how to accelerate, how to pull back. Tells you that this net is extremely volatile. This storm cloud that's surrounding this thing, if anyone attacks this net, if this net breaks free, fucking watch out, because you're releasing a clustered storm cloud. There could be highly volatile for explosions, or for shit to pop off pretty awful, especially if you're high up in the clouds, or if you're seen by enemies and they just start attacking the net and the thing just around it. But
is there any offensive capabilities for this thing?
There is not, unfortunately.
Okay.
But its speed is insane.
Wonderful.
It uses the thunder inside of the cloud to propel itself to an ungodly amount, and they start showing you the lever of the boom, 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 and he pulls it up all the way to the top, and you see that the clouds above you just start to roil into each other.
Nice.
Almost like revving up the engine. Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to pull this lever over here, put that gauge all the way to the left.
What's this button do?
Don't touch the button until you're ready to go.
Okay. Just curious.
This one over here elevates you up. You see, turn one dial over as the basket starts to lift up a bit. This lever here punches up the power. Then you want to be very important. This is the front of the basket. All right? And he's like a short, stocky guy, so his arms are like, this is the front of the basket. Okay? This way. When you want the direction you want to go, look at this here map. Taps this little green dull dial, almost like radar. And sees like the outline of the land around you.
Nice.
You see, instead of north, wind, north, south, east, west, it's H for hither, T for thither, and so on.
Okay.
So turn this around to the dial points at the land you want to go. And when you know you want to go there, put the thing up and then press the button. And watch the sparks fly. But strap yourselves in, because if you go full force and you're not holding on to something, you will fly out of this fucker so fast.
I'm writing that down because that could be useful in the future. Noted. Wonderful, Fôlkvangr. You are a wonderful teacher, and you're definitely the leader.
No, you're a teacher. You're the best with all your mechanical things. I'm sorry I tried to eat your bird. It's just, I can't help it very often.
Well, maybe you can create one that helps you collect more food. like more of these turrets or whatever. I don't know. Possibilities are endless.
I ain't gonna write these down before I forget. Oh God, I burned it.
Okay, bye.
And he just starts to go down the steps.
And I will just
You
kind of
successfully learn how to navigate with the Stormclouds.
I don't know where the rest of my party is, but I'm gonna kind of just like remember everything and just I'll be in the Stormcloud for now.
Yeah.
So
Is there anything anyone else wanted to do one last time before meeting up with Quincy? Oh, I think you're muted there, buddy.
Me?
It's all right. I'm ready to head back to the Stormcloud. Seeing the land heal itself gave Moss some closure, but she physically can't understand emotion. It's something she's lost.
That's right.
I think I'm just kind of like, before we kind of shove off, I'm just kind of like by myself or whatever, and I'm just kind of just staring blankly into the distance and just like to myself, but kind of murmuring it. I'm just like, soon, Father, soon.
Just
kind of
kinda-
scuttle to the ship.
Little pat on his
Oh,
shoulder.
I don't see you there. I'm just like,
Oh, sorry.
God, you are
Should probably
quiet.
go.
Okay, jeez.
Let's go
Warn me.
punt the guy before we go.
And Archer, and as you're over like having these thoughts, like soon, Father, you looking over this land that is now healing after much strife, kind of gives you a bit of hope and a little bit of guidance moving forward. That what was lost can be found again. And as you all start to huddle up inside of the basket of the Stormcloud balloon.
all right, first stop. I guess we go to Arclight's place.
Red
Go check out
button!
go check out the greenhouse.
Flowers.
All right. One pit stop, and then we go to Thither, okay?
So hold on.
Okay.
First off, you have no idea where the greenhouse is. The second off, Arclight's not with you.
Should we bring Arclight with us? Because he has a tavern that wanders.
She's with Bubba. I want to keep him out of danger. The greenhouse will be there when we get there.
All right. I kind of spin the dial, switch it to Thither. All right, you want to strap in.
Abby's watching. Abby's watching.
You want to strap in. You're going to want to strap in.
Okay.
You strap
Claws
in.
in
Strap
the
in.
board.
And straight to Thither.
full Guardians of the Galaxy. Like,
So you go up. All right, everybody. Are we ready? Hold on.
I hate flying.
I love it.
You'll strap in. Various, just holding on to different sides of the baskets. Quincy, here we go. And as soon as you press that red button, you're like 80 feet in the air. Lightning just boom! Like constant thunder just eradicates from
This is so legit!
Zooming past you all, like clouds and land and grass just zooming forth at incredible speed.
Yeah!
Swampland starting to just race behind you as the land itself starts to transform and turn, as these streaks of light start to whisk past all your heads like you're just in ludicrous speed mode, as the clouds change and start to become thinner, almost like little firelights are forming all around you, as you just see a trail of lightning burst out of this dark purple and black cloud above, and the lightning kind of trickling down through the various iron cables and wood and hemp ropes as they go down into the basket and just have this electricity singeing all around. Those of you inside the basket can see these streaks of blue light enter across your feet and climb up you, but it doesn't shock you. It almost like tickles you a little bit, like you've just shotgunned a Red Bull. It gives you like a little bit of surge of energy as this huge rocketing storm cloud just races you across the land. As you notice the dark swampland start to change, and the environment around you starts to become a bright green as the dark fog and swampy smells leave your purview into this fresh pine forest that just kind of bursts out as the clouds separate around your rocketing ship, and you start to go over. Do you want to slow it down?
I see some kind of like major area.
It's a tree.
Yeah, it's a tree. We do see it's a
right
tree.
Now you are like going 1,000 miles. You're like you're basically a Lambo going like 250. You're like, "Ah!" And it's hard to see anything around.
I'm gonna like once I start to see the area change, I'm start to slow it down because I don't know where we're supposed to go. So, like, I kind of pulled another lever that kind of slows it down a little bit and just to ease us up.
Arctron, you good?
Out the side. Out the side. Off the side.
Must have been something I ate.
My jerk.
Yeah.
So as the north environment change, like, hold on. You find yourselves gliding over a vast forest.
Ooh.
You can see that the dark colorations of the swampland don't seem to adorn this land very much at all. As you're kind of looking around underneath you, you're seeing cloud cover, but you're also seeing just endless forest all over. You're seeing a river sort of wind and bend and sort of split through various parts of the land below. You're seeing bright, almost Californian red rock mountaintops kind of pouring out from underneath the forest tree line. But it's just literally a bedrock of forest everywhere. With adorning with mountains. You notice little circle patchlets down in the forest of like what look to be like multicolored mushrooms and like various patch circles.
No, we don't touch those.
The vastness of the forest.
That's a fairy circle. You don't touch fairy circles.
You can make out a couple of floating cliffs as well.
Okay. Floating cliffs?
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
There's so out of these sort of Californian like mountain bedrocks kind of peeking out from the forest tree line. There seems to be one particular kind of in the middle of the area, and there's like this weird sort of thin thread or some line of some kind going up, and there's two floating red rock pieces just bobbing.
That seems interesting.
Up and down. Off in the far distance, you do barely make out a large, enormous tree that's fallen on its side.
Okay.
That's, you can sort of see like almost a hollow end and like branches coming out of it. That looks more like how, and like housing kind of spurting off of it, kind of what they described of what Lurch Loom would look like, Skabatha's place.
Okay.
And then far, far, far off in the distance, there seems to be a giant, enormous tree, bigger than all of the tree line. That's just
Moving.
Oh.
and it has a sort of a makeshift house on top of it. There's this enormous tree ant-looking thing that rises above the tree line of the whole forest over underneath you, and it's at the very end of this land that you're in. But it's at the very end, and it's just slowly moving.
So it looks like we got 3 locations or some things to go to. Do we go straight to Lurch or Lurch Loom?
See what I say?
I agree. I think we should probably see if we can find some help or information. Loom Lurch. We can go to the floating isles over there, the floating rocks.
Yeah.
Or we can go check out that walking tree.
I want to see the rocks.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, let's do the rocks first to get a bird's eye view of the tree guy.
Wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Spin over
Let's go!
to those floating isles then. All right, here we go.
Gently, gently, gently.
Okay.
All the way.
You're like,
I try to find a bag.
No, and if it's out of 10, I'll go like maybe a 6 or a 7.
Can I try to sneak waffles to use it as a bag for archery?
What's in this pocket? It's right next to the bloody apron.
Yeah. Oh.
A lot of liquids coming from your bag.
All right. So as you don't go full drive, but you go like halfway, you see two little wisps of lightning, kind of almost like perpetual flame, like from a torch, except it's lightning, come off from either streaks of the balloon, signifying an ignition of some kind. And the cloud cover around you is fairly clear sky. So if anyone was looking up right now, they would just see a giant storm cloud, very, very high above. Like you'd look like this. Yeah. But
It's a good thing Charm is well known by the other sisters.
Exactly. But you make your way over to the sort of central area of this land, bobbing and weaving as the storm cloud makes its way over a much sunnier, more uplifting land. Even though this land is currently being taken over by a hag, you wouldn't notice it by just arriving here. It's very beautiful. It's not as dark and dank as Hither was. And as your balloon kind of goes over some of these mountaintops, you see this pool area down beneath you as well. Like a giant ravine just in the middle that's connected to the lines of river that you can kind of see. Just this large pool area with like sort of central rock in the middle that's backdropped by like a big mountainous terrain.
All right.
And as you're going, did you want to see what's down there, or do you want to just go past it?
Do we want to check it out? Anything interesting?
Yeah.
You want to go down?
Sure.
All right. Bring us down.
Is there a safe place for us to dock this? Or like that's one of the reasons why I wanted the rock, was so that we could like attach it to it. But I do want to explore this ravine area.
I'll make like a I guess a percept. Well, I don't think we can hide this. Maybe like a perception or an investigation to kind of find a safe place to land.
Sure.
It's a dirty 20.
Ooh.
For investigation.
So you try to find a safe place to land near the water, and there is like a good sort of shoreline next to this pool of water that you could land on. You could also try to land on part of the mountain range itself. It's kind of like flatbed rock and then kind of creeps up. There's a bit more of an angle. But there is a bit of a shoreline next to the pool if you wanted to try to float down next to it.
Okay. As close as we can get to, I guess, this place.
Okay. As you start to lower down near the pool, sort of going down the levers, the lightning starts to... You bob yourself down, and then all of a sudden, the dials go... And the basket suddenly...
Go up!
starts to veer off course.
Oh no.
And it's just intentionally almost like it's moving itself away from the pool and starts to go back up.
Go back up, go back up, and come back.
It's not me. We can't get close to it, apparently. So,
Well, we tried.
Yeah, we tried. We'll on to the next thing.
That makes me more curious about this thing, though.
As you kind of go closer to the pool, you notice that mist drift over the surface of the small lake. Forested crags line the shore on one side of the lake, and mossy rocks protrude from the shallows near the center of the lake. Seems to be this rocky islet.
It's an islet.
Just a single like rocky mass that's circular, protruding out of the middle of it. Think of like a wheel spoke.
It's a big magnet.
Well, pushing us in the opposite direction, so you don't want to check out the pool anymore?
But something you notice happens in your pack.
Uh-oh.
Quincy.
Oh, okay.
You still have that unicorn's horn?
Yeah.
You hear a humming coming from your backpack.
I'll pull it out. I'll kind of like steer the balloon away a little bit from the pool, and kind of notice if the humming dies down, and if it does, I'll try to steer it back to it. What happens?
So you pull out the unicorn horn. This humming is shooting from it. Pull it out, and this outlining of bright gold yellow light and neon purple is outlining it. Bits of sparkly sensations are kind of reacting off of it, like baking soda being poured down in soda water. The tip of it is just this tiny little light that's kind of shining ever so slightly.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems to be reacting. As you kind of push it closer to the outside of the basket, the light goes.
I think we need to get to that pool.
Okay.
Okay, but we can't land
I need a
near it,
bath.
so we have to land
Yeah.
close enough.
Okay, yeah. Is there another place we can land that's kind of around it, beside it?
Well, the tip of the unicorn horn is almost magnetic.
Uh-huh.
Pulling you to go outside of the basket.
Uh-huh.
It's pulling you outside of the basket.
Oh, Quincy's being pulled out?
The horn is like, he's not being pulled out, but like a
It,
magnet.
just, it feels a pull
Guided.
towards it.
A pull towards the outside of the basket. And Quincy, do you keep going with it, or do you let it pull it back?
I want to hold onto it and feel that pull and steer the balloon towards its pulling.
As you keep letting the horn go out a bit more, just touching the ends of it, the point, you suddenly feel resistance.
Okay.
And the edge of the horn rips through this veil that's almost like a see-through visage of the environment around you, like an invisible veil that's see-through, that's ripping through.
Oh.
And it's pushing through it. Do you want to lower down the balloon?
Yes, I'm kind of just like slice all the way down kind of thing, yeah.
You pull down the ignition. It makes a rip in the curtain. And suddenly this flap opens up. The exact same environment is on the other side. As you go down, go deep, it makes enough of a flap for you to go through. Do you want to do so?
Yeah.
Steering the ship around, going through, same smells, same textures, same tastes. And you take that balloon and start to lower it. Lands on the shore. But it's there, everyone, that we get to end the stream.
Wow.
Oh, I'm excited. Ooh.
Nice.
Grab that unicorn horn.
Oh,
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
Very
thanks
cool.
everyone so much for coming back to our Feywild adventure. So excited to be getting back on this train. Sorry for the delay there. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to the awesome players for showing up. Thank you for Jennings for gracing us with his presence. And 2 weeks' time, we will have the full cast here to continue as you have now all leveled up to level 5 for getting to
Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you.
Yes! I can hit twice now.
I'm gonna do stuff.
All
Oh
I
my
was waiting for was
word.
you guys to take a long rest.
Ah!
Nice.
Oh my
We will take long rests all the time.
Yeah, we're gonna sleep it all the time. Catch me.
Long rest tomorrow, long rest the day after that, and then a long rest right after that, even the same day.
Yep.
So there you
Awesome.
go. Level 5, everybody. Congratulations.
Cool.
We'll let Jennings know as well. But yeah, guys, thank you all so much. Just so you know, Beyond the Realms is still on a little bit of a hiatus until some players get back from some vacations. But we will be announcing the final arc of that very, very soon. Please follow all of these amazing people here. You probably already do, but if you don't, what the fuck is wrong with you? Go do it already. And we will see you here 2 weeks' time. But until then, my name is Dicecream Sandwich. Stay safe, wash your hands. Bye-bye.
Bye.